Yo, 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 what is going up, YouTube? And welcome to Premium Takes episode 15. We got Logan in the house, we got Miz in the house, we got Blue City Empire Sports in the house, and we got my co host as always. We got Mac the Giants fan, we got Adam, and we got our new co host to the stream. We got NYG Jeffrey. All the links will be in the description. So make sure you guys go down in the description and click on their channels and hit the sub button.
Blue City Empire Sports. Arr.
Let's get it. Bye bye, Brooklyn. Off the top, guys, we have a lot of topics to cover. So if you hear an echo, I recently moved again. So now I'm in a different spot. Didn't hang my green screen yet. Didn't put up my soundproofing yet. So you're going to hear a bit of an echo. I'm sorry about that. That being said, we're just going to start with the WWE. We're going to review the weekend review, and then we're going to go into obviously the NBA playoffs. It's going to cover most of the stream. Then we're going to get into some Giants talk, and then maybe some random questions at the end. That being said, how's everybody's day going?
Just delightful, man. It's been a nice, beautiful Easter Sunday, man, for me. Nice, relaxing. Watching a little basketball, watching a little baseball. Now we ready to do the premium takes, baby. Let's go.
Absolutely. Let's get it. Welcome, Slay, and happy Easter to everybody out there.
I would say
watch a little football.
It was a good Easter prior to coming on the stream. I love you guys, but a team in Brooklyn basically took my heart out and stomped it, you know? But we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. What we're going to do right now, guys, is am I echoing really bad? Hopefully not. If not,
no, you're good.
That being said, let's cover the WWE weekend review. I didn't go on Hulu and watch SmackDown yet. I missed it on Friday night, but I did watch Monday Night War. So let's get into it. What's up, Kayla? Thank you for joining us. All right, Mac, Adam, Jeffrey, what happened on Monday Night War that we should recap?
Nothing.
Not a damn thing, really.
Damian Priest did a magic trick.
I actually let's talk about Damian Priest's magic trick, and then I want to pose a question to the panel.
I missed that magic trick. I don't know. I guess I must have been by accident.
I guess I fast forwarded to that part.
Tommaso Ciampa showed up on Monday Night Raw. He's apparently going to be a part of the Raw brand now, and they gave him a little segment in the back, a little interview, but it ended up turning into an Ezekiel and Kevin Owens segment. I don't know.
Give me a break with that.
Tommaso Ciampa out there to interview him, and then just basically forgetting about the interview with him and just having an Ezekiel and Kevin Owens segment. I don't understand, but that's about the only thing I can even remember what happened on Monday Night Raw, because nothing else about it was memorable.
Kayla, it's the same person, but what I want to know is Drew Gulak. What are they doing with this dude? He's in the back.
They're disrespecting him is what they're doing.
You giving him back, giving questions, bro?
They're disrespecting Drew Gulak.
They are.
I'm glad you brought that up, Adam. I was going to not go there, but I'm glad you brought Drew Gulak up.
I'm going to bring it up because you know what? This guy has busted his ass in the company, and this is how you reward him? By being a jobber reporter? You know he's going to get beat up.
And he gets beaten up by all people Charlotte. That's what you do with him.
I have with the Drew Gulak thing. He is literally one of the best technical wrestlers in WWE.
Yep.
Like point blank and period. He can get down with the best of them. Honestly, he can. He truly can. Because he didn't just begin and just fall off the apple tree in WWE, and that's where he began and became from. Drew Gulak was a pretty well-known name in other organizations prior to his WWE days. And I don't understand. This is a man to bring these guys in, give them these contracts, and then you just don't use them. You waste them away.
It's like Long Island ID, man.
Should be on TV and at least be in the mix for the mid-card titles at the very least.
Right.
He's in the mix for nothing. He's not even wrestling now. Now, apparently, he's an interviewer, and you got him out there getting beat up by a girl. Like,
you can't even hit back. Man. It's like what they did with Zack Ryder. That guy would come out every day, give out a good show, and then they would just squash him. So he made his own title. I mean, Gulak has been around for I don't even know how many years, 5, 6, maybe 7 years. I mean, you wouldn't notice him because
at least that long now.
You wouldn't notice him because they always push him to the background. He's had a few matches. He's had a WrestleMania match here and there, but he's like Daniel Bryan. He's that good of a guy to get in there. And now you're going to sit there and make him an interviewer?
To me, this is just a way for WWE to pretty much say, like, this is your last chance to show us something. We have nothing for you, so we're going to throw you in the back. As an interviewer, if you do a halfway decent job, maybe we'll keep you around. If not, when we do our next mass releases, you're gone. That's what I think what this whole thing is. Yeah, is anybody going to be shocked on this panel if Drew Gulak is released very soon?
But my point, though, is, like, then leave. Don't even bother to be on
Ask
the
for your
interview.
release. Ask for your release.
Say, listen, I can go to AEW right down the street where Cody Rhodes came from. I know they're missing a spot, and I can go there and make money and be in a storyline. Instead, here, where you bust your ass in NXT, come up to the roster to get jobbed in all these crappy matches that he's been a part of, to then come back, have Charlotte Flair call you out. Not Charlotte Flair called him out on live TV. He's like, what have you resulted your career in? To being an interviewer? What is that, Gulak? I'm like, yo, man, they dogged this guy. They dogged him. Now, I felt good that he was going to be an interviewer to get him in there, but you're wasting this guy's talent. Young guy. If he was injured, I get it.
He should just ask for his release right after that. After that moment that happened on Friday, just went back into the back, asked Mr. McMahon, I want to be released. Get me the hell out of this company after you just went out there and embarrassed me right on national TV. Just get me the hell out of here. I'll serve my, 60, 90 days or whatever it is, and I'll come back during the summer, and I'll be right there in the middle of this AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan stuff going on. That's what I would have done, because it was an absolute pathetic waste of time to have, like you guys mentioned, one of the best technical wrestlers in that damn company who had put on phenomenal matches with Daniel Bryan just a couple of years ago, and you're putting him backstage interviews, having him go out there doing a test for an in-ring interview with Charlotte Flair of all people, and then you have her embarrass him by putting on the figure 8 and tell him to quit on TV? It's enough. Just ask for your release and get the hell out of that company.
See, if you did that to Michael Cole, I would get it. You know, Michael Cole, Cody Graves, Pat McAfee. I understand. This guy has done nothing for you in terms of being a bad apple, but yet
they're talking about Friday Night SmackDown, I believe, and you can touch on, Kayla, what you guys are talking about. I missed the show, so that's what they're talking about.
Kayla, we're talking about a guy named Drew Gulak, who happened to be at least the three, Mac, Jeff, and I believe that he's a solid wrestler, getting screwed over by the WWE on national TV on Fox. Now you're technically your flagship show. And it's just this embarrassment where they're going.
I wanted to rewind the clock a little bit and talk about that tag team matchup. At first, I was like, okay, this is kind of ghetto. I was gonna say something else. It's 2022. I wanted to see that matchup, knowing that it's probably not going to take place till Backlash. But I wanted to see that matchup between the Usos and the Randy Orton and OK Bro. But what we got was a handful of tag team matchups, and what I really was impressed with the Street Profits and that whole matchup. Being a casual fan of the WWE, I thought that was a really good matchup. I would have wanted it the Usos to lose to the Street Profits just for a little bit of hype to the storyline. But that being said, they won it, and I just wanted to say I was really impressed with that whole performance by the Street Profits, and that the ending of the match was really good.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the Street Profits are fantastic. I mean, just watch the guys in the ring. They have good chemistry with each other. Montez Ford is one of the most athletic performers in that entire company. I don't know if Adam and Mac, if you saw that spot where you saw like the RK Bro and the Usos were arguing, and then all of a sudden you see Montez Ford leaping off the top of the top rope, landing a picture perfect senton, and does that little like wiggle or whatever it is right in front of the Usos. Beautiful. That just explains how amazingly athletic this guy is. And I think nobody should really be surprised if you give these teams like RK Bro and Usos or the Street Profits just 10, 15, 20 minutes to go in there, tell their story in the middle of the ring, they're going to put on a banger of a match. I mean, Matt Riddle and Jimmy Uso did the same thing this past Friday. They put on a banger of a one-on-one match. I mean, just give these guys the time, and they're telling a pretty decent story. But I mean,
now that we're on to the tag team thing, how do you guys feel about the unification of the tag team titles is going to be happening at Backlash? Now we're seeing we're unified the world titles, 2 world titles. Now we're about to unify the tag titles. What road is this leading WWE down right now?
I'm nervous, Mac, because We had this back when we were growing up, when we were watching back in the day. They never had this dumb two titles on each side, at least in the WWF, right? WWE, whatever you want to call it. So for me, if you're going to unify it, now make legitimate tag teams to go after it. Don't just slap people together and be like, yep, here we go. We're going to unify it and put two people you want to be champion in the match because you have nothing to do with them, right? Now, I like RK Bro, and to get to touch on the Street Profits thing real quick, I like them. But the problem with the Street Profits, you can never break them up. They do not have, to me, solo acts on each other's resume. Just keep them together like the Usos and just make them tag team glory, because you can make your hay and tag team. What I'm tired of seeing is the new what'd you call them? New Day winning, right? I watched a documentary on the Dudley Boys. That was fire on what they did, how they brought them back, how they won 9 times, and the things they did. We need, if they're going to unify the titles, bring back a tag division. Otherwise, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, I agree. I'm tired
What's up,
of
Rick?
them slapping together. You need to take the tag team division more seriously. They're going to, like you said, unify the titles. The division needs to be taken a lot more seriously. And like you said, no more of these hokey little tag teams. Like I said, in the beginning, I wasn't feeling the RK Bro thing in the beginning. After time, it did grow on me. To me, it's a good, legitimate tag team. Randy Orton's accomplished everything you can as a singles competitor anyway. Riddle's still a younger upstart in the WWE kind of still. Let these guys stay together for a little while and let Randy ride his last days out. I mean, however he wants to go about it. I mean, I guess he's the type of position to make his own decisions how his career path goes the rest of the way. I mean, because he's earned that kind of status. But this tag team is working, man. Let it just stay together. It works. It's good. It's cool. It's funny. They have good chemistry with each other. The way duplicates all of Randy's moves. It's pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool, man. And
They give an update real fast. The Bucks are up on the Bulls, Chicago, 11-5. Giannis already has 5 points and 3 rebounds in the game.
Mac, let me ask you this, and Jeff, you can answer as well. With this tag team unification, do you think more guys are now going to be pushed to the back of the line? Because, now that you don't have 2 titles going after it, you're going to probably, let's say, have one. Vince McMahon's not going to be like, oh yeah, let's just put these random tag teams together and go. What do you guys think about the talent and with this new unification of both belt and the tag team belt?
Well, one thing I can say is there's one tag team that comes to mind right away that could be in the mix right away, but it's no longer a tag team because WWE, Vince McMahon has done what he always does, and that he's broken his team up, and that's Imperium, because he's brought Gunther and the other guy who's now goes by Ludwig Kaiser or whatever. His name was Marcel Bartel, whatever. That's the name we all know him as when they were Imperium and NXT. But the other guy from Imperium, Fabian Eichner, for some reason, they're going to leave him in NXT and have no idea what they're going to do with him. They don't know if he's going to.
I know what they're going to do with him, Mac. They're going to probably put him in that little. They're going to probably put Fabian Eichner in that group with Tony D'Angelo, because I think he's like Italian in real life. So they might put him in that group with Tony D'Angelo, since he might be bringing a clique with him, since he's going to be going against Legado Day and Phantasma. But yeah.
Maybe. But it's just, to me, why break up a faction that was as dominant as Imperium has been for the better part of the last 2 or 3 years in NXT, between NXT UK and regular NXT? I just don't. There's no logic behind it. They've been a faction. They've been a dominant faction. They've been a good faction. There's no reason to break that up. That's with Vince McMahon. He's fixing things that doesn't need to be fixed, and it gets frustrating as a fan, because this could be a great product. I mean, you're clearly the biggest wrestling company in the world, and you're pretty much, to me, only surviving because you just have the money to do whatever you want to do. You just pretty much can't fail, because no matter what problems come your way, you can buy your way out of them. So it's just to me, it's got to get better, man. Vince McMahon's got to do a better job with this whole tag team division. I think WWE probably has the worst tag team division of probably all the wrestling organizations, and it's sad because it's the biggest of all the wrestling organizations, but it has probably the worst tag team division that there is, because you don't have enough real tag teams. And that's something back in the day. You had the Demolitions, and you had the teams like the Rock and Roll Expresses and the Midnight Expresses. I know I'm going way back and dating myself.
LOD.
But you had LOD. Yeah, you had so many
Hardys.
real, actual tag teams that were together for years, and there was a brotherhood, and it was just like a legit thing, and they were a brand. And you just don't have enough of those in WWE anymore.
I think the other problem is that they're trying to make stars out of everyone that rises up in a WWE tag team, right? When Edge and Christian were tag team champions and they're going for it, those guys then broke up and went on meteoric rises to stardom, right? Jeff Hardy, same thing. They break up the tag team, they go to meteoric rises. Even the Mega Powers got broken up, right? So my point is that if you're going to do this the way, the right way. Maybe what they should do is, if you're going to unify the title, nobody has the titles. Make it a tag tournament, and may the best tag teams win and win the belts. Then have a fair tournament instead of trying to strip Randy Orton or strip the Usos of a title. Just say, both you mother effers don't have a title, and just go like that. I don't know, man, because I don't want to see Randy Orton get dogged out, because I think they're hotter than the Usos. I think they bring a lot more juice than the Usos. The Usos are kind of boring to me. They always have.
I unified the titles in my universe mode on 2K22, and I made OK Bro win the unified titles.
There you go. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen at Backlash, but knowing the WWE and how dumb they are, they're probably going to give it to the Usos so they have all the gold. And then who knows who's going to lose. I know that on Saturday Night Heat, Drew McIntyre lost to Roman Reigns, so I'm sure we're going to see that play out going forward.
And I mean, I think it could bring some nice intrigue. I guess if you have RK Bro end up winning the unified tag titles, maybe it brings a little bit of a storyline that the Usos drop the belts. Roman Reigns gets a little bit disappointed in them because they didn't end up collecting all the gold or anything. If you just give the belts to the Usos and they have all the tag team gold, you got Roman Reigns having all the world title gold, it's going to make it a little bit boring. It's going to make it too boring and predictable. So you want to try to throw in there something a little bit of a curveball or something that might grab the fans' attention a little bit. Say if RK Bro ends up winning this match, then you have the idea of, well, how is Roman Reigns going to react to the Usos not getting the job done?
That's what I want.
And how is he going to react to the Usos now having nothing and having RK Bro end up winning those titles? There are going to be issues going on with the tribal chief. Is going to be something going on with the bloodline. So you have that aspect. But I mean, I actually like the idea what Adam brought up is some type of tag team tournament where you have all your legit tag teams that you put together, put them in an 8, maybe a 16-man tag tournament. Well, I don't even know if we have 16 tag teams. I doubt it.
Not.
8 or 12, because you can even bring some teams from NXT. You can bring some of the teams from NXT that they're trying to establish and throw them in there and see if they can maybe catch fire with some of the audience on the main roster and see what you got. You could have yourself a nice little tournament and see you can ultimately be crowned the new unified tag team champions. But they'll never do that.
What I want to see is
the way they should have handled. Speaking of, I'm sorry, real quick. Speaking of the NXT tag team titles, when MSK had to relinquish the titles because of the one guy getting fired, getting released. That's what they should have did. Instead of having that stupid ass gauntlet match they had on Tuesday night on NXT, they should have had a tournament. Set up a fucking tournament. Set up a damn tournament. You know what I mean? And do it the right way. You had this gauntlet match where the team that ended up winning was the team that came in last anyway. So they only had to wrestle one damn match anyway. Whereas the Creed brothers had to go through the whole damn gauntlet to get to that last match, and they ended up finally losing. So it's how's that even a fair way to determine a new champion? One team only has to wrestle one match while another team had to wrestle 5 matches. Come on.
And I like the fact that this team, Pretty Deadly, just debuted on NXT last week, and you already throw the tag team belts right on them immediately.
Well, they are the former. They had a nice little title run in NXT UK, but still, they were established over there already. But still, I agree.
Oh yeah, sorry, I left on NXT. I don't really watch NXT.
Thought they were putting them on the Creed brothers for sure.
Or what even the grizzled young veterans? Maybe even give them a shot at a potential tag team.
How do you bury a team like that?
What I want to see
how do you
is
absolutely bury a team like that?
Not to cut you guys off about the tag team talks, but I think we all know that Cody Rhodes is going to be the next one to hold that title, right? And he's obviously gonna probably get that. So that being said, what I do want to see, just as a guy who grew up via Randy Orton's era, I would like to see Randy Orton. It's probably not going to happen, but I would want to see him get his hands on the WWE title before he retires. Just one more time.
You said Randy Orton?
Yeah, he was the youngest guy to win the Universal.
You mean the first 14 times weren't enough for you?
I mean, like, he could get it. I mean, like, we got Ric Flair and John Cena for 6.
Well, actually, the guy I'd like to see is Edge get one title because he didn't. His storyline technically is unfinished because he didn't lose the title. He lost it to injury. So for me, I would like.
Looks good with the belt. You know what I'm saying?
Give him the belt.
Randy Orton with the belt. Just
for what it's worth, Zion. Randy Orton will 100% get one more title run before it's all said and done.
Thank you. Yeah, no doubt.
But
14 times wasn't enough. That's so good.
But you said it like it was just because the way you word. You said it like as if I
so
just want to see him get a title, like he's never even had it before or something. Like
I really want to see Randy Orton get a title run before.
I want to see Randy Orton. I want to see him get his 15th title reign. How about 16 to 17?
Absolutely. He's the youngest to ever win the championship, Kayla. So absolutely, he's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, Randy Orton's a surefire Hall of Famer.
Yes. Yeah. What he did in Evolution, what he's done over his career, no doubt about it. He should already be in.
If I had it my way, it would be either Randy Orton, Finn Balor, or KO holding the WWE Championship, and it'll be AJ Styles holding the Universal.
Listen. There's a ton of talent we could talk about on this roster that gets the kibosh. I mean, Seth Rollins is getting treated like a dog.
Real fast, either Drew McIntyre or AJ Styles.
I mean, all of them are getting treated like a dog because of Roman Reigns. Not that Roman Reigns. I don't know if Roman Reigns backstage is doing anything, but I mean, like, you're telling me there's nobody else that's big enough, strong enough to beat this guy? I mean, this guy was nothing before you put the tag title on him because you had no one else during the COVID pandemic era, right? You had nobody. You had Edge, you were going to try to put the title on. He got injured. Randy Orton, you have no idea what direction he's going, right? You give him a title, it's always short-lived. Right, Kevin Owens deserves it. He should have won the title when they were in Safeco Park and he did the swanton off the scaffolding. I mean, to me, that was the deadliest move I've seen in a long time. Yet the guy gets underrated because he makes fun of Steve Austin. But like to me, it's like
I did like the respect of the WWE to give him that matchup, though. That was respect. That shows that they respect him in a way to give him Stone Cold. His first match in 19 years, like that shows some big respect.
Well, but this has got to be a platform match for him. It can't just be you squash him and he goes fights Ezekiel. Like no one cares about Ezekiel. Okay, nobody. I like Elias better, anyways. He played music. He was a heel. People liked him. If you didn't like him, you loved his Walk with Elias thing, and he would be horrible. He actually made an album. Like his character was funny.
Stands for Walk with Elias. I remember that.
Now he's this guy who walks out and says, "I'm Elias' twin brother." Like, give me a break. I'm so glad that Kevin Owens is calling that guy out.
I like him when Tyson Fury went real fast. I like him when Tyson Fury was like exiting, talking to the reporter, and Kevin Owens comes in. He's like, "Get the hell out of here!" I love it. Continue, Mac.
But Jeff, you did a few days ago. You did a short on your channel. Do you got inside information, or was that just something you wish would come to happen with Edge and Damian Priest with Tommaso Ciampa and Rhea Ripley join them? Because that would be genius.
I heard
that's perfect people to join.
That's actually been talked about in the rumor mill lately, that they're thinking about adding some more members, and Rhea Ripley and Tommaso Ciampa are two of the names that have been thrown around. And if you think about it, I mean, Rhea Ripley has been teasing that heel turn for the past few weeks. I know that she won her match recently on Friday, and just look at the similarities that are going on with Rhea's entrance. She got the dark look. She got the purple light going on, similar to Edge. She is starting to turn a little bit to the heel side. I think she'd work perfect as a heel. And Tommaso Ciampa, if you watch Tommaso Ciampa circa 2018 in the WWE and NXT, that guy is a perfect suitable heel for that type of faction. Just, I don't give a damn. I hate you. You can chant F you, Ciampa to me. I am ruthless, soulless. Like, he'd be perfect for that group. And you could get some serious heat with that group if you book them right. And if anything, what Adam said before, Edge should be in line for a world championship if that group catches fire. Because I would have Rhea win the one of the women's titles. You could have Priest and Ciampa, if it comes to fruition, win the tag titles. Edge becomes a world champion. You got yourself your dominant faction, where this company has been lacking besides the bloodline just destroying everybody and anybody around. You like a true dominant faction where it could highlight everybody in that group. And you have a female dominant performer. You have 2 mid-card dominant male performers who are just being coached up by a veteran like Edge. We know how good he is. And then Edge, one of the most respected veterans in that company for years. It would just be perfect but it's all dependent on if they book that group right, because it has the potential, if you throw those 4 names together in a group, to be something special.
And real fast update. Milwaukee absolutely smashed in Chicago, 27-15. Giannis almost has a double-double in the first quarter, 9 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists.
That just surprised me. Sorry, Pat.
One more thing. I was going to talk about the names. You were talking about the names earlier, and that bothers me too, man, because I feel like when these guys come in and sign their contracts, like they should be able to come in and have at least enough creativity, their own creativity, to be able to go by whatever name they want to go by. And all this now they can't. Some people do use their real actual names, and now apparently Sam McMahon's not going to allow that anymore. I don't get it when these guys build a brand already based around whatever their name, what they go by. Now all of a sudden you feel some need for change, like you said with Pete Dunne and this Butch thing. Pete Dunne already built his name and reputation up as Pete Dunne in this industry, in this company. So now you've changed him. You not only changed his name, you changed his whole character completely. He's like this rabid, uncontrollable guy now. It acts just ridiculous and crazy, just carries on like a fool. Like, come on, that's not Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne was very aggressive. He was very physical, but he was still under control, you know, and now you've got him acting like he's just like an idiot. And those kind of characters don't last. I'm sorry, I've watched those kind of characters die often throughout my years of watching WWE. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, how is somebody like Ludwig Kaiser going to survive on the main roster? Really? Ludwig Kaiser? You might as well just get rid of him now. Just send him to main event or something. How is that guy going to survive with a name like that? Did you guys see what they did to Casey Catanzaro and Kaylee Ray? They changed their names too. They can't go by those 2 names anymore. Casey Catanzaro, I think, is Katana Chance, I believe. That's her name. Katana Chance. You changed her to Katana Chance.
I hear you. Wow. I hear you.
I was gonna say, well, fast Adam. We're gonna wrap it up probably at you guys got like probably 5 more minutes. Good 30-minute session. I'm WWE.
Not worried about that.
Any final thoughts, anybody?
Just want to say about the name thing. It's funny because I always thought the name thing was, I didn't like the first and last names at a certain point because I liked Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, Undertaker, guys like that. And then all of a sudden John Cena comes around. I'm like, great, John Cena. Like, there's no imagination behind that. So I get what you're saying in terms of the brand, and I agree with you. If you call yourself, you know, buttfuck, right, and that's you've established yourself as that, right, then you should keep your name. If not, then you should be able to decide to change your gimmick. I mean, if you look at it, last thing is Undertaker went by the name, I think, of Punisher or something like that, and Vince McMahon called him up and goes, "Is this the Undertaker?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm the Undertaker." You know what I mean? So sometimes organically it happens, and then there's other times where you want your name to be out there because you don't want to be called buttfuck your entire life, right? So,
well, no, I mean, it's cool when it's in the beginning. I guess if you're coming in as an unestablished star and he's just trying to guide you in the right direction, but I'm talking about he's taking people that are already established.
I agree.
And you're changing their names like they haven't already built a brand around the name that they already have. Like LA Knight, for instance. LA Knight has been.
Oh God! Don't get me started with that one.
Eli Drake. He's been Eli Drake his entire career. Everywhere else he's wrestled. Comes to WWE, now he has to be LA Knight.
Well, I think that's a Vince McMahon being like, no, you're not going to represent the other company. Even though it would be funny because you would pull over those fans to watch this particular individual, right? So I know that I went to AEW I fully went to AEW when CM Punk went there. There was John Moxley, there was Chris Jericho, there was Sting, there's some other guys you could like, but once CM Punk went there, I was like, see ya, you know? So I would think the same thing would happen with the names. But I guess Zion wants to move on. Guys, any last words before we move on?
What's going on here, squad?
Just do better, WWE. You got to pick it up because you've had 2 weeks in a row of just garbage Raw and SmackDown TV. Do better.
How you feel about the Lacey Evans spot the last couple of weeks, by the way? How do you feel about that on SmackDown the last couple of weeks?
She looks
Lacey
good.
Evans. She does look good.
She looks tremendous. I mean, it's a nice little story they're building up with her.
I
just don't
missed
know
the
how it's gonna
Southern Belle. I like
translate.
that character. I really did. I really like
You
that.
think she's going to come in and be instant back thrusted right into the top of the women's division again?
Yes.
It looks like
Yeah.
it. It looks like it. It looks like
They have nobody, really. They have like the 4 women they ride with. Right?
How do you feel about
What happened to Shotzi Blackheart? Where is
Look-
Shotzi?
She doesn't look
And
like a
Toni
leader
Storm
now.
went to AEW.
Yeah.
And alrighty, I just
What
wanted
is
to
going
moderate it
on?
because we can stay here and talk WWE all day, guys. And I don't
I
mind
just
that.
want to make
But-
one more quick point
Go
about
right ahead, Jeff.
about the Damian Priest thing. What happened with Damian Priest is he was having his match with AJ Styles, and all of a sudden, I don't know what he did, but he turned into the Undertaker, where he just like went down his knee and did like the arm up, and then the whole place turned purple with like lightning and everything, and then just the screen went black in the middle of the match.
And then they cut off.
They cut it off, yeah, right in the middle of the match. They just cut it off, and then just that's it, commercial, and didn't go back to the match. So
Oh yeah, I did see that. I remember being confused about what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I remembered as you was talking to, like Max said. But if you guys want the fullest in WWE recaps and all of that, Max has his podcast about the WWE on his channel. Him and Jeff do it. So make sure you guys go hit Max's channel up, subscribe to his channel, turn that notification bell on, and you can get on that WWE podcast. That being said, guys, I hate you guys just having so much fun talking about the WWE, and I hate to rewind the clock, but I'm thinking let's start with the game that just finished, and then we'll go back to the Heat, and then we'll recap Saturday. I'm sorry to change the vibe and change the mood, but you know we guys had a tough
Adam,
game.
you start on this one, please.
Nets
Start
lost
on
the
this one, Adam.
Celtics 114 to 115. Let's talk about it.
Adam, start on this one.
Here's the problem that I have with the New Jersey. I'm about to call them the New Jersey Nets, the friggin' Brooklyn Nets. Okay, they do this all the time. First off, Kyrie Irving giving the finger to Boston. I love it. I love the griminess. I need that back in the day. It reminds me of some old school. Here I'm back to take you guys down. The problem I have is the touchy fouls. Like, what is this? Kevin Durant does a bank shot off the backboard and they're calling offensive foul? Are you kidding me? I know they gave him one the shot prior when they called the foul for the elbow, but geez, man, the guy didn't even do anything. Then you come back around, and what defense are you playing? No defense. I don't know. Marcus Smart gets the ball again, makes the right pass again, and somehow Tatum does a whirling dervish to the basket. That should never happen. That should never happen. And the problem is the Nets have no big man presence. Andre Drummond should have probably been in that series. That guy Bogdanovich, whatever his name is, he needs to be off the floor. He stinks. Okay, put in Steph Curry. Give me that guy. I'm tired of this. This happens to the Nets every time they're in the playoffs. You know what happened? ESPN or ABC, whatever damn station it was on, put up the Nets are 0-41 when trailing by 10 points in the fourth quarter. I said, there we go. And guess what? They lost again. That makes them 0-42. Thanks a lot. It just gets me. It just gets on my nerve because here we are, the championship team. The team is clicking, and you lose. You make a comeback from down 14 to lose by a point on a spin move, bank shot, basket.
I mean,
It's tough.
I don't want to hear any moral victories like, yeah, we came back from 14 down. Yeah, the team showed fight in the second half. I don't give a flying you know what. When it came down
victories
to
are
it,
for losers.
exactly. I don't care. They lost the game, and there were too many ticky-tacky fouls going on in this game. How many flops did Marcus Smart do in this game? 8? The guy was flopping over the damn floor the entire time, and they were calling charges on the Nets. You were touching these guys on the Celtics. They were calling fouls. Some of the fouls were driving me nuts what was going on with this team.
The amount of fouls that were called in the first quarter, I'm sorry, Jeff, in the first quarter was just blasphemous.
It was terrible. And the rebounding, I'm sorry, Al Horford killed the Nets an entire game on the front court, making easy rebounds, putting the ball back up. There was no front court at all. Claxton, I'll give him credit. He had a pretty nice game. The guy can't hit a free throw to save his life. We have no center in there that can hit a free throw. Drummond getting in foul trouble at the beginning of the game killed them in that terms because they had no true shot blocking presence down there. Claxton's just too small to bump with some of these guys. And can you tell me, why did they not give LaMarcus Aldridge a chance? Why did you not put another big in there and see if you can level off? Because they were getting bullied and bullied the entire time. That entire game, they were getting bullied the entire time, and even trying to adjust.
That is a fireable offense.
And I'll let you go at them, but real fast to make a statement too. I was watching a lot of pre things before I was making my lineups for the DraftKings, and a lot of the people were saying that LaMarcus Aldridge is not going to play today. He's healthy, so don't draft him. And I was just wondering why. And I'll let you go.
My point is that guy is your scorer on the floor. He changes the dimension of the basketball game because he can be a shot blocking presence. That's not what he does, but to have him on the floor, like look at what Hit Squad said. Clayton is 57% at the free throw line. If you put in a LaMarcus Aldridge, maybe that goes up. Maybe that goes up and you're winning the basketball game. I don't get when a guy's a healthy scratch and you can use him, you decide to get cute with it. Oh, we're going to play small. No, go with what got you there. He's one of the integral parts of the team. You traded for the guy, right?
Thank you for
I don't know what's wrong with Ben Simmons, but apparently you can buy shades and a nice leather jacket, right? But LaMarcus Aldridge is sitting there. He's a healthy scratch, and you're not even using him. Like, give me a break. If I'm the owner and the GM, I walk into Steve Nash's office and I said, if you don't play this guy, this will be the last time you coach a basketball in Brooklyn this year.
Stats on Ben Simmons.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
And you're telling me we couldn't use his defense out there?
Is he gonna play the next game? What's gonna happen with him?
No, he's supposedly not gonna play until maybe game 3 or game 4.
Maybe game 3 at best, they said. Okay. But here's my because I have no dog in the race, y'all. I know you guys, Jeff, Adam, big time emotional Brooklyn Nets fans, his squad. Sorry, man. It was a good, hard fought battle. Y'all came up on the short end, and you already mentioned Marcus Smart, and you mentioned.
I hate that dude. Not like personally, but I hate that dude. My God.
What you call? I was saying it's we was chatting earlier on the text chat earlier in our group chat. Jason Tatum is a grown ass man. Every time they needed a big, huge play in this game, I felt like Jason Tatum came up with a big, huge play in this game. It wasn't just the one at the end. It wasn't just the one at the end. It was, all throughout the course of this game, I felt like every time when you guys maybe go on a little run or get momentum going for Brooklyn, Jason Tatum with some kind of way make some kind of play to turn things around for Boston, man. So I got to just being the one on the panel that I'm just going to be a little more neutral here because I don't, like I said, don't have a dog in the race or anything. He's a grown-ass man. He had a great game today, and he came up big for the Boston Celtics.
You know who I have a problem with? Hey, Bruce Brown, thanks for running your damn mouth before game 1. You just showed the hell up today. Thanks for running your freaking mouth the entire time when you didn't even need to do that. You're going to run your mouth before the game? Show up and actually make an impact.
Well, I have to agree with Mac there. Tatum was one of my favorites going in, but because he's playing my team, I can't love him. But when he was coming up, I said that boy's going to be a star. When I watched in his first playoffs, I even told my wife, I said, watch that kid. Tatum's going to be a beast. And here he is now, shooting shots, being an all-star, and basically carrying the team on his back. And good for him.
The crowd's chanting MVP, and the commentators are like, he's not going to win the MVP. Just hating on him. I'm like, Jesus. Continue, Adam.
Jaylen Brown's a tremendous player, too, and you can't discount what he's done for that team as well. Both of them, Tatum and Brown, have been a good combination. But to me, the one guy that scared me the most, and I'm going to keep saying, is Marcus Smart because of his defensive intensity out there, for the way that he's able to lock down those guys on the other side. And for some reason, this guy waits until he plays Brooklyn to all of a sudden become a three-point killer out there. He makes all the best plays against the Nets.
Miami has one of them guys, that Anderson guy, I think his name. I forget what his name is, but if I could pull up his picture, he was on Miami. He's a dog. He plays defense. He's similar to Marcus Smart. I think if anyone in the chat remembers that guy, he used to play for the Rockets. I forget what his name is, but he plays for Heat now, and he's like Marcus Smart. He's just an irritating guy. The thing about Marcus Smart that I hate the most is he doesn't have to score points to dominate the game. Excuse me?
Yeah.
You talking about Duncan Robinson?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Duncan Robinson had a nice game today.
But the thing is like when a guy like Marcus Smart doesn't have to do. If he scores, you're in trouble. If he's just playing defense and grabbing boards, you have a chance. But once he starts to score, he does the put back. He does all the dirty work that a lot of we don't have. Like the Nets, okay, no bench, which they've always never had any bench. Okay, Karis LeVert is drilling threes from Akron, Ohio, in Cleveland. Okay, and we get rid of him in a trade because now we got nobody. Okay. And it's just this is the type of things the Nets do. They give up on players too easily. They throw them to the curb. Meanwhile, who do we have? We have Ben Simmons sitting there doing nothing. We have LaMarcus Aldridge, who Steve Nash thanks a lot. You got Brown running his mouth. And, great job, guy. You're a booty ass bum player. You score 10 points a game. That is your job. Defense and 10 points a game. I'm tired of it. This is the Nets. This is the history of the Nets. Every time. In the last 5 years, this is what their history has been. They get to the playoffs, they think they're going to be all that, and then they choke it away. And I can't blame Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving played like a grown-ass man.
He showed up. Kyrie showed
like
up this game.
To win.
And you know who else showed up today that had a good game? Seth Curry, coming off an ankle injury. That guy had a good game today. Not going to get on Seth Curry at all. He played well.
Durant. This is where I get mad at Kevin Durant, because if Kevin Durant came to play today, we're not even talking about this game as a loss. Okay? We're not talking about it as a loss. But because Kevin Durant can't seem to get the ball in the net for whatever reason, I don't know if it's he stayed up all night in Boston. I have no idea what's his problem. But if he was more of a scorer than he was, we're not talking about this game. The Nets have no third scorer, no third real option. That's why when they brought in Curry, I know they subbed him out for number 11. I don't know his name, but number 11 can only play defense.
You mean Dragic?
Yes.
Oh no, Dragic number 9. Yeah, he had a good offensive game. I mean, he did make some pretty good shots, but he sucks on defense. You need to get him out of there.
The thing about him, though, is like I don't need him on the floor in crucial moments.
No,
I don't. You don't need him on the floor. He was on the floor in that defensive mishap. Okay,
and you didn't need to have Claxton on the floor too, because Adam, let me be honest. When they were tied and Claxton was going to the free throw line, did you have any faith he was going to even make one foul shot? Because I sure as hell did it.
No, but the problem
you need to get off the court.
If he hits 1-1 down the stretch, again, we're not talking about this. You got to hit free throws. This is the reason why I look at free throws as turnovers in the NFL. Okay, any team gets enough turnovers, they will win the football game. Any team gets enough attempts at the line, you can tie a basketball game. However, it goes in reverse if you miss the shots. Okay, if someone's giving you free points and you go there and you go to the foul line 15 times and you only hit 7 of them, you left the other 8 points on the floor.
Yep.
And those 8 points are the difference in the ball game. You hit 1 or 2 more of those free throws. And now we're talking about, again, you're not losing by 1 point. You're up by 1.
And going into game 2, Steve Nash better make some adjustments and start playing Aldridge a little bit more. Maybe you could even dust off Blake Griffin and see if he can give you like 5 to 10 minutes or something, because they need size. They need to get some type of size in that game, because they got bullied that entire time when Drummond wasn't in there. They need some type of size.
If you put in Aldridge, right, you can then use Durant wherever you want. He can be free roaming. The problem is that you didn't use him. They don't have anybody to worry about offensively. They're not going to foul. They're not going to foul LaMarcus Aldridge the way they can foul the Claxton kid, right? So then
either one of them.
Advantage you, because guess what? That guy's hitting 70% from the free throw line. So if he gets fouled, you're going with a guy you know is going to probably keep you in the game, not some guy who, yes, great, he's a high flyer, but now we're really missing Jared Allen, aren't we? We're really he's in Cleveland as well. We really could use that kid right now.
It's the stupidest trade when they did that. They went all in and tried to get Harden when they had a good team already there that could have just developed behind Kyrie and KD. They got selfish. They got greedy. When they had a good team already set there, you could have had all these guys like a LeVert, like an Allen. Harris was still there. You got Dinwiddie. You had all these guys that you could have had developed right underneath with KD and Kyrie. You got greedy, and it blew up right in the
Ben Simmons right now. That's right.
What has Ben Simmons done for the Nets right now? Ben Simmons has done nothing but wear fancy suits on the sidelines. Ben Simmons, you know what? Get on the court and lock down Tatum or Brown the entire game and make it incredibly uncomfortable for those guys to take shots. That's what I need Ben Simmons to do. Get off with this fancy suits and everything. Get the hell on the court. Play whatever it's 10, 15. If you play well, 20 minutes, and lock down one of those guys on the Celtics and give the ball to your shooters. You don't have to shoot. Just get the ball to your playmakers and lock down either Tatum or Brown and make it uncomfortable for them to get into their sets and their shots. I'm tired of this one just really set me off today. Like Adam says, I'm sick and tired of this. For the past 5 years, this team has just found new and impressive ways to kill their fan base. However many of us there actually are.
It's almost like the Giants, except they're good, right? Like the Giants will find ways to lose football games, and you're like, I thought I seen everything, and then you watch the game, and you're like, nope, I've never seen that. Here, you got the game. I'm watching the game. I'm trying to help my wife put together, some shelf or something like that, and I'm trying to keep an eye on the game, and I'm like moving, and she's like, stop moving it. And all of a sudden, at the end of the game, I'm like, oh man, 1 minute to go, 8 seconds, we got this. And no defense. They just let them go right to the hole. They passed it. Smart got it. What does Tatum do? Tatum does what any star player would do in that position: cuts to the basket. And Kyrie Irving,
and Kevin Durant just standing there watching.
Seems like. Well, you know what it is? It's probably because they were tired. Because when they come back, you get tired. But Jesus, criminy.
I know you guys are. This one killed y'all, but there are 6 more games left in this series, and I think it's going to be a great series.
Mac, do you know the probability of game one? Off. Game one winners go on to advance. This is bad news.
Look, but here's the thing. I know Jeff said he didn't want to hear it, but exactly what Mac said. You guys went neck to neck and came back, almost won that game. Should have won that game against the second seed. I know there's more victories. A win is a win, no matter what. But at the end of the day, I mean, like, Kyrie's going to sleep on this one and come back, and KD's going to make his shots. KD starts making his shots early, this game would have been a little bit different.
No, I'm not. I mean, you're right. There's 6 more games going on, but it's just this loss right now. I can't take a moral victory and say, oh, well, we came back from 14, 16 points, and we made it a game. We had a chance to win it with 8 seconds left. That's where, I'm like, no, we lost the game. It was a killer. But, yeah, there are 6 games. Nash has got to make adjustments. He's got to make adjustments in game 2 with that lineup and try to put something different.
You got to think. You guys went out there. You went toe-to-toe with the number 2 seed in the East.
Yes,
you guys by no means played your best basketball. It was a horrible, sloppy basketball game. A lot of fouls, a lot of turnovers. I mean, just think if you just clean up a few of those turnovers. Just that alone would have changed the outcome of this game.
Oh, they turned the ball over way too much this game.
So you got 6 more games. Like I said, this is not the Nets are not a normal 7 seed. And this is going to definitely be a fun series to watch. And it could.
The Nets are not the Atlanta Hawks, guys.
Could end up being the best series of the first round. Period. Honestly.
Well, Trae Young, man. Let's transition to that basketball game. See. I know you Miami fans are riding high, but Trae Young, man, that guy's got ice in his veins. You just pissed him off, and I can't blame him for being 48 hours out and then playing a physical team with no rest. So let's see what happens.
Trae Young, but who? Okay, honestly, I'm riding high. It's gonna be 4-1, maybe 4-1. You're not gonna win.
I don't know about all that. Trae Young ain't gonna let that happen.
Hey, here's the thing, though.
Trae Young needs help. That's what he needs.
That's the thing. How do they match up outside of Trae Young? How do they match up with us?
Is John Collins gonna show up?
He's not Superman. He can't do it all.
Yeah, John Collins has got to show up. You paid him.
I respect Trae Young. He's a really great player, but as far as him and even him, even if John Collins shows up,
you got 17 out of Gallinari today. I mean, if he can be more consistent and keep bringing that energy.
It's a really bad matchup for the Hawks.
I think one of the biggest things in this game, the biggest stories in this game is off the Miami Heat bench, man. Duncan Robinson, man. What the hell? 27 big points. I mean, that's a huge.
Player. Got him I drafted him on game, all of my DraftKings lines up. Had him
come off the bench and drop 27 in the first in game 1 of the playoffs. That's
they're deep. Man. They're deep. They got a very deep team over there in Miami, and that's what's going to help them move on in the playoffs. Is they got a lot of guys on that team that could score 10, 15, even 20 points. They got a lot of good depth. And Kyle Lowry, that old wily veteran, did it again. Kyle Lowry is like another one of those Marcus Smart players, a pest. Draws those fouls, gets in your face, pesky little guy that just pisses you off because you want him on your team. And when you're going against him, he just gets under your skin. And that's exactly what Kyle Lowry did.
That's
He had
that
another
Villanova
great
in
game.
him, though. That's that Villanova dog.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly, Matt. He got that dog in him, and he is the definition of a dog out there. He helped that team out so much, and I think him and PJ Tucker were two great additions for the Heat because it gave that team some great championship veteran experience out there. And I think it was a very good additions for your team, and it's only going to help out the Heat for some of those young guys, especially like an Abadayo, a Robinson, a Hero, and those guys. So, yeah, they're going to be formidable going forward. But the Hawks they need help. They got to help out Trae Young.
Absolutely.
But I mean,
I got really nothing to say on that game. I mean, like I was tired, so I slept through the first half. I'm just gonna be that cocky Heat fan. I'll wait for the next series. I don't think Atlanta has a chance. Sorry, Atlanta fans. Let's move on to Saturday. If you guys want, if anybody has any final words about this game.
About the Nets game or the Heat game?
The Heat game.
If we're gonna move on to Saturday,
and everything right here. Bam.
I need John Morant to stop posterizing cats like that. I mean, I know the Grizzlies still lost the game, but what John Morant did to D'Angelo Russell, man, that should be a crime, bro. Can't be posterizing cats like that constantly, man. Why? This is what I'm talking about, NBA. Make people get these superstars in the dunk contest. John Morant, you're doing that kind of shit in games, bro. Imagine what he could do in a damn dunk contest, man. Come out there and give us a show, man. John Morant, posterizing cats all season long, man. That's my guy. That's all I got. Sorry.
I love it. You Gucci. I wanted to shout out to the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? They're my team. Obviously, they're the third seed. I believe they're not any steeper, but. You know, I could see them. They're a team that could upset the Suns in the finals. I'm not just putting the Suns there, but I could see Golden State being that team to beat the Suns, and it'll be like Golden State versus Milwaukee or Golden State versus Miami or something. But that being said, I really was happy to see Klay Thompson get a step back, help out, contribute. Other than that, I was at work for most of the day. I think the Mavericks are going to be a very different team as long as Luka plays. Mavericks will probably take that series. You talked about a little bit on John Moran and the Grizzlies. As for the Raptors and the 76ers, I didn't really watch that game. I was mostly helping out customers at work. But, you know, it's great playoffs to start off the playoff weekend. And right now, to give you the score of the Milwaukee Bucks, it's 44 over the Chicago Bulls, 39. I'll let Adam and Jeff say a few words.
I mean, in terms of some of the games that happened on Saturday, I mean, I think the T-Wolves are finally starting to come into their own in terms of their young players. I mean, a Malik Beasley, a Karl Anthony Towns, and Anthony Edwards, they all came to play, and these are young guys that have been being groomed by that team. You know, it's been taking them a little bit of a while to finally come into their own as a team. But I think if they're able to stay healthy, they're going to be a team that could be there could be a team that could be reckoned with a little bit going forward in the Western Conference because they got themselves a nice little core. Then you got a good veterans like Patrick Beverly, and you got D'Angelo Russell at the guard position, two veteran guys. I mean, the Wolves, they're going to be a pretty decent team going forward. They just need a little bit of depth on that team. And I mean, in terms of the Mavs and the Grizzlies, the Mavs need Doncic. Plain simple. They need Doncic out there because I mean that team is just they're run by Doncic. Their whole entire offenses are circled around Doncic, and when he's not out there, just seems like a completely different team. And I give credit to Dinwiddie, Finney Smith, Brunson, and those guys put on a good effort out there. But Doncic is the key, and he needs to be out there to play.
Yo, I have to apologize to the Warriors and their fans. Because I called out saying there's no one that could probably beat Phoenix. I was wrong. If the Warriors play like they played on Saturday night, they're going to not only beat Phoenix, but they're going to be in the Western. They're going to be in the NBA Finals. Because that team with that Poole kid and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond Green still playing well. And see, there's a coach that knows what he's doing. Okay, Steve Kerr. You know, he goes small. You know, he does put the Andre Iguodala, moves Draymond Green to the center position. Goes big, brings in Looney. You know, gets bigs out there. What does Steve Nash do? Oh, you know what? You're healthy, LaMarcus Aldridge. That's okay. Have a sandwich on the side. You know, we don't need you today.
Why did not Steph Curry come off the bench yesterday?
Because he's still injured a little bit. He's still kind of injured.
He's coming back from an injury. I think it was his first game in about a month since he got hurt.
But
So they
think about that.
probably-
He was coming off the bench, and they beat the team without him really doing much. So
But
now
keep,
you bring,
and I don't want to Nuggets fan. Keep in mind, we understand Murray was out. We understand you guys have players out. I forget this other important player. I know,
Porter.
Thank you. We understand Porter was out, and we're not trying to overlook you guys. So we understand that. But continue, Adam.
But like, listen, Joker's doing his thing over there, but they have nobody when you have those three guys going on. Like Poole, I don't know who this kid is, but he came up there through the Warrior system, and here he is taking over a game in his first playoff appearance and basically doing all the scoring. And Klay Thompson says, "Let me turn the clock back a little bit on you." Draymond Green playing like he's a young spry Draymond Green, okay? And then they have their bigs that just outworking the Nuggets in every facet of the basketball game. Okay, the Nuggets can't get into their offense.
They still have Wiggins too.
Real fast before you guys continue. Yes, Slay's right on this because Jordan Poole on DraftKings was 8,000 salary. Keep in mind, Klay Thompson was 67,000. So
don't forget about Andrew Wiggins too. Andrew Wiggins was an all-star this year. So I mean, he's also brought it
absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. They can play. They can play with anybody. And that's my point. It's like, okay, Phoenix, I thought you were going to run away with it, but now you might have some competition with the Warriors. So I apologize, Warrior fans, because I got to really dive into you guys on Saturday. And boy, whew, you do not want to be listen, if Poole doesn't do well, it's going to be Steph Curry. If Steph Curry doesn't do well, it's going to be Klay Thompson. But if they're all hitting on all cylinders,
then there's Wiggins.
They're loaded. They're a loaded offensive team.
Iguodala,
they still got Iguodala there too.
Iguodala, there's Looney. I mean, like obviously Looney's not going to come in and give you that much, but he's going to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? To a point. Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. It's just I just had to apologize to them because when we were doing our basketball preview a couple weeks ago, I was like, the Warriors aren't going to do much. No, man, they are coming for blood, and I want Denver to do well because I like Jokic. I think he's the premier center in the league. I think that's where he does a lot of things well. He does low post. He doesn't just shoot threes like most centers like that come from Europe. They don't like to shoot. He does the low post type work. He's probably the best center in the game right now, but he needs help, a lot of help.
I believe he definitely.
And when you have those three guys going off, and then you're going to add. The thing is, you're adding Steph Curry in. It's not like three guys went off without Steph Curry. And now you're going to add Steph Curry in? Like Steph Curry had like 9 points.
He had 16. He had like 16.
Yeah.
He had double.
I'm sorry, man. I thought
Adam, you're right.
I thought okay,
right.
I let you go because I thought you was making like a joke because you usually see Steph Curry going like off for like 30. So when he had like 9 points, I thought you knew he had 16.
Well, the point is he didn't get his normal. He didn't get his normal
minutes, absolutely.
His normal Steph Curry type. 16 points is pedestrian for that guy.
Yeah, no, that's why I thought you said 9 points. Like, never mind.
Yeah. My point is he had a pedestrian game. Let me put it to you that way. Okay, 16 points from a guy coming off the bench. That's good if you're a sixth man. Right? Oh, 6 man came off the bench. That's good if his brother for the Nets did that. We'd be like, oh, impressed, right? We're not impressed when Steph Curry does that. But when he comes off the bench and helps put the game away and does he's shooting threes from the other side of the court. Jordan Poole walks up.
There's some threes. He's just like it wasn't even like. Doesn't play the best basketball there. He's just like, I'm just gonna shoot this. Like he's blocked and everything. He's like, I'm just gonna put this up. It doesn't
like Trae
matter,
Young
but just him filling it out again, coming back.
That guy was down the stretch was incredible. Trae Young, right? He was
phenomenal.
He was just hitting shots from the moon, right? That's what Jordan Poole last night. He came down, he shot a three, he did a little shimmy, and he was going down the court. I'm like, yo, this Warrior team, bro. They're playing with a little swagger. They got the swagger back.
You got to remember, there's still a lot of pieces from the championship years on that Warriors team, man. So,
and they reloaded really nicely.
They know how to win,
man.
The
guys they got. They reloaded nicely as well.
They won without Durant, right? They won one championship without Durant, and they won one with Durant, and they lost one with Durant. So, who did they really add who do they really lose out of this thing? They lost Durant mostly, right? They have Klay Thompson. They still have Curry. They still have Draymond Green. But now when you get a guy like Poole, it's like, oh man, he came. Like I said to Jeff, he came up in their system. It's not like they acquired him via free agency. They drafted the guy. They developed him. You know,
and they took a guy, Andrew Wiggins, who was struggling over there in Minnesota, and they managed to turn him back into his all-star form that he had at the beginning of his career. So that's another kudos right there to their coaching staff. They were able to make Andrew Wiggins back into a good player again. Well, they're doing a great job over there. They're doing an awesome job over there. It's a winning culture.
And California beaches do that to you, okay, man?
I'm charging my mouse for a little bit, chat, so I'm not able to click on the comments, but we do see it, and we will read it.
And he makes adjustments. Hey, Steve Nash, take notes. Make adjustments during the game.
Yeah, it's funny because you watched that Brooklyn game, and it was really like hero ball towards the end of the game. It's just Kyrie Irving throwing up shots, carrying his team. There's no movement. There's no
one-on-one basketball. Yeah, it was one-on-one basketball. No team.
And that defensive play. They're going down. I'm not trying to go back to this game, but you're 8 seconds to go in the game, and that's the defense you're running?
Did Drummond foul out of the game?
I think so. But
why he didn't foul out? Why is he not in the game?
But why are you not having Durant just hang? If anyone comes to the paint, that's your man. I don't care. 2 people coming to the paint, those are your guys. You don't 2 guys in the paint against Tatum, and he spin moves. It's not like he even went up for a layup and he made it. He spun and threw the ball off the backboard. Where's the defense?
There was no defense. That's why,
I'll put the banner back up or let you guys talk about it for 5 more minutes.
It's just funny because there was no defense. It was just, Ole, go to the basket, take the win. We don't want it. Go ahead, Tatum. You guys have the win. We're just gonna find a new way to kill our fan base.
You worked that hard to lose the basketball game. You worked all the way up to the game. You stole the game. You came back. You were putting it on their throats, and you lose the game on a whirling dervish layup at the buzzer.
Suckle in 2K, a spin move, anybody? I'm sorry. I'm just sorry.
I apologize.
I want to get you guys are good. I wanted to get into a fun question because I want to get you guys. Obviously, you guys' mind is still on it, and it's going to be on it after the question, but. Most overrated and most underrated player in the NBA. Not in history, just right now in the league. Actually, you know what? You guys can go in. You can go in history if you guys want to.
What was the question again?
Right there at the bottom. Most overrated and underrated players.
I know my most, if you want to talk about history, I know my underrated player history for mine.
You can go right ahead and you can be history or it can be current. However you want to.
There's a lot that have come through the NBA that have been overrated.
I can't. It's hard. I'm trying to think over. It's been, like you said, it's been so many. That's right. Like
Michael Olowokandi,
Kwame Brown,
Greg Oden.
Overrated at draft time, but they never really. We're really overrated. I mean, we're talking about like that. I mean, Darko Milicic should have never been picked before Carmelo Anthony in that draft. I mean, that's
okay. There you go. Carmelo Anthony's overrated. That guy's overrated.
But underrated, as far as all-time players, underrated to me, I don't know how many if you guys are going to be familiar with this guy. I'm taking it back a little bit. But he's a point guard back in the day, man. He played most of his career in Portland, I believe. And then he came over to Washington, I believe, to finish his career. He might have played had a few other stops, too. But his name was Rod Strickland, man.
Ooh! Yeah.
Good
Roddy
name.
Rod.
Good name.
And this dude, man, never – ever got the respect he deserved, bro.
Did he play for Minnesota?
I can't remember if he played in Minnesota or not. He may have. He moved around quite a bit late in his career, but I'm pretty sure most of his fame, like his like really, really great years were mostly like in Portland, I believe, early in his career. He was he was a beast, man, and he just never, ever got the props he deserved, man. Never. I don't even know. I think he never made an All-Star game. But yet he was always statistically one of the best point guards in the league.
That's like Kenny Anderson, man.
Throughout his career, man.
Kenny Anderson was damn good.
I love it.
Not just to throw another name out there, but what about Kendall Gill? I thought Kendall Gill was a good player. Kendall
Kerry
Gill was
Kittle's
a
very
very
overrated,
underrated
too.
player for those Nets teams.
Want to talk about overrated? Kerry Kittles.
He was.
Van Horn, overrated. That guy was overrated. You want to talk about overrated player? Let me give it to you. Keith Van Horn, overrated. Okay? For where he was drafted, for what he did.
I mean, you're going to take it there. Christian Laettner, to me, is probably one of the biggest offenders. We're going to take it there. I mean, this dude made the dream team over Shaq.
Hey, what up, Adrian? Thank you for being
That's
here,
an
my
insult,
friends.
yeah.
Congratulations to you. My man's getting married this week, so hopefully you enjoy your wedding.
Congratulations, Adrian.
Blessings to you. Let's get it.
Adrian!
Congratulations,
Congrats,
brother.
What about a guy like Damon Stoudemire?
Ooh, I like that, but he wasn't
David
really overrated.
Stoudemire.
He just kind of plateaued.
I mean, I like
kind of
Damon
plateaued.
Stoudemire.
Stoudemire was a hell of a player at his time. He
Yes,
did
he
plateau a
played
little
ball.
bit. He had
was
some good
overrated.
moments.
Played ball in high school with Stephen Milbury.
Marbury.
I know him too.
That guy was overrated.
I love Sam Cassell, so I thought he was underrated. Sam
Nick
Cassell
Van
was
Exel?
very underrated.
He was pretty
How about
good.
like
Nick Van
Nick
Exel.
Van Exel, man. Yeah, I think he was never really appreciated as much as he should have been.
I got
Really-
one that's
he
going to
really
piss off Knicks fans. Antonio McDyess.
Ooh.
You want to really piss off the Knicks fans? Antonio McDyess.
Ooh. Well, when he played for the Nuggets, he wasn't bad.
And then we went to the
played for the
Knicks.
Knicks,
He was
terrible.
everything but bad. Guy
I
was
mean, you got
injured
like saying John Wallace, man. John Wallace.
Alrighty, I love this question. It's just a surprise question that we didn't really review, and I just want to surprise you guys with that question. Awesome.
Also,
So-
underrated guy, Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace.
He developed into a really good player, man. He started
liked
off a
him.
little rough around the edges, but he developed into a really good player.
I loved
Legit
Rasheed
big
Wallace,
man.
though.
I love that whole Detroit team, and I
Give
never
me
liked but that
Give me
Detroit team was
Rasheed
fun.
Wallace any day of the week.
How'd you feel about Jerry Stackhouse in the overrated?
I love
I mean,
Stackhouse.
as far as like, I don't know, man. He never did it for me as a pro. I loved him in college, but he never did it for me as a pro, man.
What about Chauncey Billups? Because
Another
people
guy.
won't realize how good Chauncey Billups was for that team.
Big
You know
shot
what I mean?
Billups.
What about Rip Hamilton? That guy was clutch too for that Detroit
He was
team.
solid. He was solid.
I probably only know like two players that you guys just.
You know who was good on that
Everybody
team?
mentioned.
Tayshaun Prince. Yo.
I was just about to mention him. That's right, Adam. Tayshaun Prince was good.
Tayshaun Prince. That
Yeah,
guy
I
didn't get
appreciate
the due that he deserved. And
Hamilton
you know
was-
another guy I like too? Manu Ginobili always was.
Oh, I know
you know.
Ginobili. Yes.
That
You guys are speaking my
ultimate
language
six-man.
now. You guys are like
Ultimate
talking another
six-man was
language.
Manu
I love
Ginobili.
it. I got all
That
He
that.
was,
guy
man.
was
He could do everything.
fantastic.
He could do everything.
Some of it was before my time too. Not to age you guys. I wanted to get into. I didn't watch any of the games. I don't know if you guys watched the games. I don't know if you guys even want to spend 5 minutes talking about this, but it is
USFL,
football.
huh?
And we love sports. Absolutely. USFL recap. Anybody watch the games?
I watched
I
New
watched
Jersey Generals, and they were terrible.
I watched a little bit of both games, and they're rough around the edges. But for what it's worth, man, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. These guys are guys that are not quite NFL talent, but they are still professionals. A lot of them have had successful college careers,
Some of them.
and
had
you
fun.
Kyle,
just gotta take
I
it.
think
take
Kyle
it as-
Lalletta's on one of these teams.
You just gotta take it with a grain of salt, man, for what it is. If this can turn out to be what I feel like what we were talking about earlier in the stream earlier, Jeff, what I feel like it could be a developmental league for the NFL.
It is. I
Developmental.
think they have a partnership with the NFL already,
for
and
the
it is going to be a like kind
That'll
of like
be
G League in a
more-
way.
That'll be more better than trying to totally be completely stand alone from the NFL and
It's,
just try to be almost like competing with the NFL. In the
Not to
sense.
cut you off, Mac, but it has been confirmed that how kind of like G League is more becoming a process that you can go to college or G League to go to the NBA. In a sense, you still got to go to college, I think, but it's becoming one of that where like these kids, if you have NCAA or you have the USFL, it is going to be kind of like a development kind of league, and they do have the NFL does support them. And I don't know if they have a partnership, but I know that the NFL does support them. Now that you
But
continue,
here's
I'm
the
sorry about
problem
that.
right now. Like I said, these leagues they keep popping up and they keep failing.
Yeah.
You need one of these leagues to succeed, man. Like
It's gonna be
they
good for
gotta
the
prove to me
NFL.
that they're going to be able to. Like the game earlier today, that Houston and Michigan game, it was a tale of two halves. The first half, Michigan looked like I don't even know what to tell you. That team looked bad in the first half, and in the second half they turned it around. They almost came back and won the game. But it's a little bit of sloppy play. It could be nerves to some of these guys. Some of these guys ain't had a chance to be in the spotlight in a long time. We saw we had a Paxton Lynch appearance earlier. Former first-round draft pick for the Denver Broncos. And
They
he was
didn't,
just as awful. He was just as awful for the Michigan Panthers as well. He was horrible.
He was
Absolutely
bad.
trash.
Staring down his receivers, throwing it right to the cornerback. Right
when he threw a pass and got intercepted, I was like, does the quarterback know how to throw? Because his body looked all weird and stuff. I was like, man, that's terrible.
I seen I had it on my phone for a little bit while I was watching the NBA, and anyhow, I seen a play where like the quarterback threw the ball and then the passer like nipped it, and then the other quarterback was like, no, he nipped it, coach. But what I want to talk about was before that they had I just loved how you can hear everything so clearly, and they had a helmet cam on one of the running backs or something like that. I really do like that. And I was talking to Logan last night, and he was saying that they got a drone flying around as well.
Yeah,
so
they have drones.
I do like the production, trying new things out, and then maybe we can see it be kind of like a test ground and for production wise, and maybe the NFL can adopt some of those things.
Well, they tried. The Skycam was taken from the XFL years ago.
Mm-hmm.
NBC, Dick Ebersol made the Skycam for the XFL, and the NFL was like, we're stealing that idea. So you're right about that. They might revolutionize camera work. The thing that's going to really help or hurt the USFL is your product on the field. Okay. Now, they didn't have preseason games. I don't think they did. I'm not sure. Mac, Jeff, maybe you guys know. I didn't see any preseason build up for this. So what you're going to see right now is the preseason kind of build for this USFL. Because they had no preseason games, the guys are going to go out there and they're going to have to adjust on the fly. So I don't know how many games they have. I think they have like 12 or something like that. You'll see by week 6,
10 games,
it'll start to turn around, and maybe the play will be a little better. As for the draft, here I thought it was interesting if this league does succeed. It will do a lot of things. One, if you don't make an NFL team, you don't need to worry about it because now you can go to the USFL and get more burn, right? If you're an undrafted free agent, do I sign with the NFL team or do I wait and say, you know what, I can play at the USFL and build my skill set? So things like that creep into your mind the longer this league stays about. Now, again, the NFL is the NFL. You want to make it there. But if I already know I'm going to be cut on third string, my opportunity might work out because I have the USFL to fall back on.
Well, one thing I was going to take from these two games so far that I watched, the only thing I can say is from a good play, as far as good overall good play, is I saw some pretty damn good wide receiver play in both of these games, man. Some really good catches made by some of these wide receivers down the field in these first couple of games, man. Right from the door, the very first play in USFL history was the Generals yesterday through that deep pass downfield. Great play by that wide receiver. I can't remember what his name is, but it was. I just remember he made a great play on the ball, great catch. He didn't end up scoring a touchdown a few plays later. The same guy. I mean, today there was a couple of
I think his name was
catches made. I can't have no idea what his name was.
I think I know who you're talking about in the first game, in the Generals game, right? He had like 100 yards in the first half and a touchdown.
Yeah. And then there are some interesting other rule changes to a few. Not a lot. It's not a lot of different rule changes, but it's a few with the USFL.
I like the first down stops the clock.
Yeah. Also, they have the thing with the extra point that you can go for the regular kick like in the NFL, you can go for a regular 2-point conversion from like the 2-yard line, or you can go for 3 points if you can make it get a play across the goal line from the 10-yard line. How do you feel about that? The 3-pointer.
I don't know if the NFL would adopt that and how many people would, if you could do that. Man, I don't know, man. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. Also, I want to see how it plays out with USFL first. See how it works.
Another thing they do is they kick off from the 25-yard line to allow more actual kickoff returns, and that's pretty.
Yeah, cool. The NFL is not going to do that.
Yeah, NFL definitely. The NFL has made it clear they're not doing it. They made it the way they made it for a reason. They said they feel like guys were getting injured too much on kickoffs, and I actually kind of agree with that. It's kind of NFL. It's like I said, this ain't NFL talent though, so this is a little bit different. Let these guys have a little bit more, be a little more loose, a little bit more fun.
I hate that,
you get them an
man, because
opportunity.
a lot of guys made their hay with returning kicks, and you kick the ball every time. It's a touchback now. There's no strategy involved. I mean, the Lambu special doesn't happen without them kicking the ball off to Tiki Barber. Oh, what was it, kickoff? Well, either way, those kind of, like, I shouldn't say the Lambu special. How about this? The Frank White Music City Miracle doesn't happen if we don't have kickoffs, right? So I like that rule. I hope it does well. And the good thing is they end in June. So that means if these guys are good, maybe they get a camp invite. Who knows?
That's
I'll
right.
tell you who's not
Yeah, I
good.
guarantee you they'll get
So
camp
far-
invites. I guarantee you.
So far,
yeah.
Some of
there's
them
no
will.
kicker I've seen that's any good. These kickers
Oh, they're
absolute
terrible. Yeah,
garbage.
they're pulling kicks
I don't
left and
know
right all over
where
the
they
place.
found these guys at. They are.
Well,
Yeah,
I think you're going to start to see a lot of guys get run off from the NFL, like guys who, maybe first-year guys and things like that, once the UFL gets legs, because guys are going to be like, yo, I got injured this season, or I was on COVID, whatever. I'm not doing that well. Maybe you don't hear from them. Then all of a sudden they blow up in the USFL, and because they had ties to the NFL, they'll come back. So that might help a guy that's injured, a third, kind of receiver or a fourth receiver on the back end of a roster somewhere where they're like, they get cut and they don't see a light of day in the NFL, and then they go to the USFL and they can tear it up because they have different coaching. So we'll see, man. All these leagues have always failed. That's the only problem. They've always failed. AAF failed. XFL failed. The XFL is coming out next year with The Rock funding it. I think that has NFL backing. So we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, I want to give this league a couple more weeks before I can make a real decision on it one way or another. Though this is the opening week, and I got to give them a chance to really get their feet wet a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing for the NFL is that this league does end up developing into something. And then, like Mac, you were mentioning when we were talking about it in the chat, I mean, this could become a very good developmental league for the NFL if, especially with the way the NFL is when it comes to injuries. Instead of you going out there and signing on free agents that are on the market during the season, you could just go right to a USFL team potentially and just grab one of those guys to take a practice squad on your team, like a developmental system. And you can even put practice squad guys like Pat was mentioning before in his stream. You can put your practice squad guys onto the USFL team, and they can get some experience playing on a regular season game. So I mean,
international.
I'm a big
international guys over.
Yeah.
A lot of these international talents that you're trying to bring over and you bring them in NFL training camps. Or you got leagues like you can bring them in to maybe let them get some USFL burn.
Yeah. Sandro Platzcomer or Roy and Bontica, you give those guys a chance to show what they can do in the USFL? Who knows?
I'm a big fan of college football, but I've been boycotting it for a while. I followed it last season, but for a little bit. But I boycott college ball because I'm a big believer of pay your athletes. I don't want to get into that discussion, but why should you go and have to go to college? I think college is good. It's good educational, but it's not like these coaches care if they're going to class or not, and then they're going and getting hurt and risking their life. And you can go to some place. It doesn't have to be the USFL or whoever the league wins, whether it be the XFL or USFL. We just need a consistent league, kind of like what you guys just talked about, where all of these leagues popping up, disappearing, popping up again, disappearing again. And then we just need a consistent league for these young athletes. They have multiple options, whether you want to go to college or you really want to go to USFL. Obviously, the universities are not going to like it, but at the end of the day, it just adds another option. Plus, too, it's a good developmental stage, like we was talking about earlier at the G League. It's good for these players to get paid while putting their bodies on the line because it is a contact sport, and we've seen so many cases where you have a food-wide scholarship, you get hurt, and you're in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. They strip you from your scholarship, and then now what? So that being said, I just like people getting taken care of for doing, putting their bodies on the line. And obviously these guys make a lot of money in the NFL, and we don't have to get into that. But at the end of the day, it just adds another option for these players.
And they just came out with the ratings for the game that happened last night. They drew a 3.5 million rating for the game. So, I mean, I don't know how that's going to be in perspective for the first game that happened with the USFL, but this league will survive if the fans somehow catch interest of it, and enough people are willing to watch it and give this league a shot.
Man,
They
absolutely.
continue to build up their brand over the next couple of weeks. I mean, this league will get a shot, but right now it's just to be determined.
To be determined. That being said, let's get into one of our final topics of the hour. We got the New York Giants talk. We can talk about the Giants, talk about free agency, talk about trades, talk about the draft. Whatever you guys want to talk about New York Giants related or even NFL related. Let's just get right into the football conversation side of the show.
I need to get something off my chest. Okay. I've been talking to Giant fans here and there, mainly one, Miz, but he brings up the schedule. And that word hurts me when people say soft schedule. Because every time I hear, the Giants have a soft schedule or they're going to win 8 games, I go back and I say, how are you going to tell me a team that fell apart down the stretch that went 4-13 is going to win football games? Have you looked at the roster? I can go over it for you if you want. There's nobody on that roster.
Real fast, Adam. You're a mod now, Kayla, so you can drop links all you want.
Excuse me?
Just telling Kayla I made her a mod so she can drop links.
Have you seen the wide receiver position? We have 4 guys that we're relying on. 3 of them are injured. 3 of them are injured, and the rest of them are bums. Who's Austin Prohl? Do you know who that is? I don't. You want to look at the running back situation? We got 1 guy on the running back that we can even trust, and that guy is injured. How about I go down the defensive line for you? Okay, so when you tell me that there's a schedule that is soft, what about the other teams in the NFL? The Jaguars. Oh, well, they're going to run us over and we're going to beat them next year? Give me a break. We have no leg to stand on and say we're going to go win 8 games. So when people come at me and tell me, hey, the schedule's soft, Giants are going to win 8 games, you got to be out of your damn mind. Because last year, some of the same people that I was talking to told me we're going to go 12-5. Oh, Denver's nothing to worry about. This team's nothing to worry about. Guess what? We got our tails kicked in every Sunday. So
I was one of those people that told you we were going to go 12-5.
I don't believe a damn word. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Well, the thing with the schedule thing, before we move on for that real quick, the schedule is right now, everybody is 0-0. And here's the facts of the matters. We don't know who the hell is going to be good, and we don't know who the hell is going to be. We can speculate all we want. But the Jacksonville Jaguars can come out next year and all of a sudden be guns blazing and be 15-2 or something, and then we're gonna be like, oh, I thought they were gonna be a bad football team. No, we don't know until you put the product on the field and see what's gonna happen, man. You just don't know. The 49ers went from one year being as bad as we were, like 4-12 or something, to the Super Bowl the next year. Like, you just don't know. You can't really base things off of the schedule. Looks like it's soft based off of what they did last year. Well, all these teams are doing things to try to improve themselves, and if any of this stuff works, we don't know who's going to be really good. Because like I said, the month of December, I keep going back to this because it was the worst month in New York Giant history for me. The month of December last season, there's no way we were beating the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Detroit Lions, the Houston Texans, or any of those other teams.
Don't do us that dirty, man.
That finished with a worse record than us.
I feel your point.
We're not even going to beat the Alabama, any of those teams. Alabama or Georgia. Yeah. Last December, we probably weren't going to beat Alabama or Georgia either. He's absolutely right. It's just how bad we were.
And also to bounce off that point, Mac, look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody, and who's anybody that was a Giant fan, like the Eagles are going to suck. They're going to be terrible. They're going to win 2-3 games. They ended up making the playoffs. Yeah, the Eagles.
Everywhere.
The Eagles fans thought they're going to
be a very bad football team.
Yeah, and they ended up having a really good season. So, I mean, I agree. Yeah, the schedule right now might look soft. Who knows what each team is going to draft? Who knows what who teams are going to lose players in terms of injuries? Who knows what players are going to develop and have themselves a bounce-back year? We don't know. It's a brand new season. The NFL is parody. You really don't know who's going to come into the next season and who's going to be good.
Let me break this down for you. We went 1-5 in the division. We still play those guys next year. We play the Vikings. We play the Packers. We play the Ravens. I can easily see 3 losses right there. Okay? So we're 1-5 in the division. We have 3 losses. Guess what? We're at 8 losses. Okay? So don't tell me about the damn schedule when we can't even win in our division.
And also the point being, I know everybody's very excited about the the new head coach coming in, the new GM and everything, and they think that they're going to turn this offense around with some offensive line help and everything. But here's the name of the game, and it's going to be the thing that is going to be repeated over and over again with this team. Health, health, health. Daniel Jones,
Yes,
Saquon
indeed.
Barkley, Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, the offensive lineman, health. They have to stay on the field, or this offense is going to suck as bad as it did last year. They need to stay on the field for this team to have any shot, and we need a pass rush. This team needs some legit pass rushers on the outside too. I like Azeez Ojulari. He had himself a very nice rookie season.
Awesome.
Is he going to do it again in his second year? Leonard Williams had a down year. Guy was getting double teamed a lot. He didn't really have anybody on the outside consistently.
Decent year.
Dexter Lawrence.
Had a good year.
He had a
Dexter
good year.
Lawrence. What is Dexter
Mark,
Lawrence?
No, I don't want
What
to
is
say
Dexter
that
Lawrence
name,
right now? Is Dexter
Nick
Lawrence a
Martin, yeah.
defensive tackle? Are you going to play him at the defensive end when you go 3-4? What about our linebacking position? Blake Martinez is coming off a torn ACL, and we really don't have anything else at that inside linebacker position. I like Tate Crowder. He's probably a backup at best. The secondary, we lost Logan Ryan. We lost Jarrell Peppers. McKinney looks like a baller. Julian Love, I like him as a player. I think he's best as a Swiss Army knife type guy. We don't have any depth at that position right now. And cornerback, James Bradbury just seems like, as much as we like, maybe it'd be cool to keep him, he just seems like it's just waiting for him to go. Jackson, very good player. Health, another guy that has trouble staying on the field. Darnay Holmes was benched a lot during the season. Do we know if this guy's going to adjust into Wink Martindale's system? I think he's a good depth player. Aaron Robinson could be the key to that secondary position. Is he going to take the leap going into his second year because he didn't play a lot of games this year? Rodarius Williams, another guy with an ACL tear. Is he going to come back and show something? So we don't know. Sorry.
I was going to say, Darcy, you mentioned Darnay Holmes, man. I would like to see Darnay Holmes get more of an opportunity again this year because he had a really solid rookie season. And I feel like last year, all of a sudden, it was just not really going to use this guy.
Well, he got injured.
I thought he was just not. I didn't realize.
No. He got injured.
Yeah, he got injured.
I thought he was just. I thought he
A
was
bunch of people is injured last year.
But he got injured. Like
That's what it
Everybody
is.
on the roster got injured for
That's
one
the
point or another,
problem.
right?
Health.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's going to define this team. How many years have we gone into a Giants season thinking we have high expectations, and what's destroyed us almost every year? Health.
I had us going
This
12
team
and 5
never
next
stays
year
healthy.
because of our
ever.
defensive scheme.
Always
Because
hurt.
last year I had us
Too
going
many
12 and
unknowns
5
to pick
because
us to
of
go
our
12 and
defensive
5.
scheme, right? And
Way too many
Yes.
unknowns.
not this year. I'm talking about last year. I had us going 12 and 5, and then when you lost to Atlanta, obviously the Redskins lost hurt, but the Atlanta loss
I
stank.
want to just say this. I want to just say this.
Go ahead.
I want
Jeff.
you guys to be brutally honest, and everybody in the chat be brutally honest right now. Can you really count on Kenny Golladay, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, Daniel Jones? Can you count on these guys to be on the field for most, if not all, the season? Because I sure as hell, and I'm being dead honest, I can't because of their injury history.
Right now, what I'm
says you should be able to.
Can I
We
address your
should,
line?
but you can't. They have injury
Because-
histories that you don't know if it's going to change. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm so
Adam.
excited. I love it. Wait, let Jeffrey finish Adam and then go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, yeah, these guys are all talented. Yeah, they were misused like hell because Jason Garrett can't call a play out of a paper bag with his 1970s style offense. But at the same time, these guys couldn't stay healthy. They couldn't stay on the field. None of them. We couldn't rely on any single one of these guys to be on the field consistently when we needed them. And that's the problem with this team. And that is going to be the problem with this team is they need to stay on the field. At best ability is availability. The key sentence with the New York Football Giants for years.
How much
they
of that, real
cannot
fast,
stay on the field.
real
Stay
fast
on the field.
before Adam covers the offensive line? How much of that? I'm just gonna say this. How much of that was based on the scheme we was running, the practices you was running? These are, Joe Judge, you did a damn good job at your damn press conference, but that's all talk. When it came down to action, where was the action? I'm talking about the injuries because, yeah, we had some fluke injuries, but at the end of the day, I had us going 12 and 5. We didn't, obviously. We was out of the playoffs in damn near November. We had the shittiest December of all time. 2021 Giants were probably the worst Giants team of all time. And that being said, I see a comment up here at 11 and 6, G Nation, and I love that. I love that. And why I love that is because he's always gonna show optimism and stuff like that. But what also I like too is I'm not gonna go out there. I have us winning 7 games this season, but with that 7 games, I have us the games that we losing. I have us in those games. I said this last year and I was wrong. I said last year I believed in our defensive scheme. This year I believe in our defensive coach. Even though our defensive coordinator, even though he hasn't even coached yet, we haven't seen anything yet. And Patrick Graham is excellent. I'm not trying to diss Patrick Graham. He's damn a genius in his own way. But I just think this new regime is not injuries. What if it comes down to the players that we had on roster? What if it comes down to just the way we built our players up? I just think that this regime is a PlayStation 5 and the old regime is a PlayStation 3. We definitely got to upgrade in the regime that we have in our coaches and our offensive coordinators and stuff like that. Coordinators. And that being said, I understand where you're coming from, but it's just so hard to know where we are in as a team because we can't really judge last year because half the damn team was hurt. And you can go right ahead, Adam.
Well, not just last. So it's not just last year. My fault, Adam. It's not just last year though, but it's just.
But that's why
injury thing has been like a thing for the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, like, real fast, why I said that to begin with is I think it's been the last 10 years, but this is the best coaching staff we have on. Even though I know I'm jumping out of the water. You can catch this as a receipt. Use it against me. This is the best coaching staff we had here since fucking Tom Coughlin.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yes, you hope.
So.
But my point is,
we don't know yet.
Everybody wants to talk about the offensive line, defense, blah, blah, blah. First off, I'll show you this. Wink Martindale blitzes 38% of the time. We only have 2 corners on the roster that we know right now that are proven to even play in the NFL. Okay? That's Dory Jackson and James Bradbury. And one of them may not be here. You know what I'm saying? So the second thing is the offensive line. We got 5 guys on the offensive line that have never been here before. You got a guy coming from the Colts system, one guy coming from Buffalo system, another guy coming from Arizona system, another guy coming from Atlanta system. And you're going to tell me, okay, well, everything's good. The offensive line is good. No, you need to learn terminology. You need to learn the guy next to you. It's going to take time for this team to gel before we can actually see how good the offensive line is. Mind you, they're only on 1-year deals. So if these players do blow up or stink, they're out of here. So that doesn't build continuity. This is what I'm telling you. Okay, I don't want the Giants to do badly. I'm not trying to tell you, don't be excited about the new regime. I'm just as excited as everybody else. But we need to pump the brakes on certain teams. This team's going to the playoffs. We couldn't even field a friggin' football team last year. Now you're trying to tell me we're going to the playoffs? Because our schedule sucked. Because a bunch of jackwagons we signed for $1.50 every offensive lineman is worth $1 -1 from the Colts. It's all of a sudden going to be Anthony Munoz, our quarterback who everybody hated for 3 years. All of a sudden now loves because John Mara went out and said, we did badly for Daniel Jones. Give me a break, okay? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of sitting here every week, having delusions of grandeur. I want to see what Zion said. Let's be competitive in every game. Okay, if we lose the game, know that, hey, you know what? It wasn't last year. We're building something. If we go to the playoffs, great. But then what happens the next year when we get good? And that's fool's gold turns into a pumpkin because we thought we were all big and bad and all this stuff, right? Because we won a few games against some lesser opponents. Ooh, great. That doesn't do anything. Be in games, win big games, beat big teams. We didn't beat anybody good last year. We beat one good team. That was the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody else
beat the Raiders.
Was garbage.
We'll beat the Raiders too.
Oh yeah, forgot about them. Sorry. Sorry about that. Defense won that game.
Yeah, for me, it's just, it's going to come down to one-word answers for this coming season. It's going to be development, foundation, continuity, just like that kind of stuff. That's all I want to see. It was like all we should want to see as Giants fans. Of course, it's great to be excited going into the new season, new regime. Expectations are a little bit higher. You might be a little excited and everything, but there's a lot of ifs on this current roster right now. We don't know what's going to happen after the draft. But at the same time,
But you know what?
I just want to see. We all should want to see this team show something this coming year, and just show progression going into 2023.
What I would like to see is this football team. We got to crawl before we walk, man. We have been so bad for so long. I just want to see this team be competitive again.
Thank you.
You know, win some football games along the way, but be competitive week in and week out. Don't go out there getting bullied and pushed around like some little leaguers, man, like little Pop Warner kids. Go out there, look like competent NFL players, and go out there, win, lose, or draw, at least be competitive. Because we haven't been competitive.
Look like an NFL team and stop looking like
it's
college team.
Frustrating to watch that. I haven't went to a game live in a few years because I don't want to spend my money and take that hour and a half out of the turnpike to watch us look like shit. I just don't want to do it.
Gas, ticket,
man,
food.
It's still good. I've been to a couple of them and they won, but I'm just saying you still get energized. I know what you're feeling. I feel it.
Well, I spent $350 on Sunday ticket last year because I wanted it in HD.
Did you boys hear the new reports? The Giants in love with Charles Cross due to his extremely high pass pro grade, sort of a hint towards our offensive identity. Yes, Brian Daboll is not lying. He wants to pass the football. So obviously the best passing right tackle in the draft would be a tackle that you would consider. And if they do consider taking Cross at 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever numbers they're at, I know what they are, people. I'm just being funny. Unlike the 9 points, this time I'm actually being funny. But Charles Cross allows you to do that. The only thing is that's pass pro in college. You know what I'm saying? I love that you're good in pass pro, but you haven't seen Khalil Mack. You haven't seen certain guys come at you. But if that's any indication, like she says, yes, I think Brian Daboll wants to throw the football a little bit more. So I think he would be essentially the pick if he falls to the Giants.
And Adam, to bounce off your point that you mentioned earlier about the offensive line, it's going to take time.
That's a good one.
Big Mac,
fucking medium Pepsi. Oh my god, that's a slap in the face. That's such a backhand in the face. That was a penny. A penny cost you a penny.
That was one of the dumbest moves John Mayer has ever done. Dumbest moves he's ever done.
Don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that.
T-shirt.
I was mad with some podcast with that one.
Houston Rockets during the season, obviously it wasn't doing so good. $20 will get you a ticket, a T-shirt, and a soda, and something else during the game. You go to NBA playoff game, you even go to NBA team that's hot during season. You come in, they have a shirt laid out on you, right there on your seat. So John Mara, you couldn't even give these fans a shirt? What the hell?
And listen, also, you would want that shirt. That shirt be used as toilet paper for this something to wipe your last year.
Yeah. And just to bounce off what Adam was saying before about the offensive line, I mean, you guys remember what the Chiefs were like, that offensive line, when they first put it together. They traded for Orlando Brown, signed Joe Thuney, and then they drafted Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. And then they also had the right tackle guy. I think it was Yang, who they also drafted, and then Wiley. It took them how long until that offensive line eventually got continuity and started getting used to one another, playing with one another? It took them about close to half the season. So Giants fans,
right,
it's not going to happen right away with this offensive line. You're not even counting injuries. Injuries can play a factor too.
If the Giants stumble out the gate because the offensive line is willing to gel, and the team is 0-4, am I going to sit there and then say, hey, Daniel, let's be your quarterback? No, get him out there. 0-4, the probability of you making the playoffs are done. Right there, gone. Especially, I know there's everyone's like, oh, there's a 7th wild card team. Give me a break, okay? 0-4, you're not going anywhere. So the reason why I'm playing devil's advocate and people may not like my tone for the Giants is not because I don't want them to do well. It's because I've been down this damn road before. Okay, I've seen the same song and dance many years in the NFL. And yes, you can go from worst to first in the NFL because of parity, but this team doesn't have enough parity on the roster to even field a team right now. Go look at the roster, do the homework on the roster, and that'll tell you where this team is at. Because one injury to the wide receiver core, they're screwed. Defensive line, they're screwed. We have nobody. We need more picks. What we should be doing is trading out of 5 and getting a boat or 7 and getting a boatload of picks and adding more players because that's what we need.
Could happen.
I do agree with you, Adam.
Yeah.
I do agree with you, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. Vegas has gotten it wrong many of times. Vegas has the Giants opening as the favorites to win the division. What do you feel about that?
Win the division?
I can't believe that.
Win the division?
It's probably because they think the team's going to stay healthy. They probably think that the new coach, the new regime, and the team's going to stay healthy.
I don't even know how that could be possible.
We're not even the best team in our division.
But they do.
Right now, you think we're honestly better than the Dallas Cowboys? I hate that.
I think the Cowboys and the Eagles, and I think the Cowboys and the Eagles are better than us right now.
Yeah.
Even the Washington Redskins are better than us. Okay? They beat us twice.
I don't like the Commanders.
I think we're on par with Washington. I think we're just neck and neck with them. But Philadelphia and
that's
Dallas are better.
History kind of says we play well against Washington anyway.
It is
I'm calling the Redskins because back in 1986, when they beat the Redskins, that's who they beat. They're not going to say, oh, they beat the Washington Commanders. No, you don't just change the name. They beat the Redskins. That's who they are. That's how they're going to stay to me.
Well, you know how Vegas goes. Like after the draft, they're gonna up and this gonna change.
No,
I just can't believe how they could even.
We went 1-5 in the division. How the hell do you go from 1-5 to all of a sudden being the division leader?
Because the new coach that comes in, the new regime, and they're expecting Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, and those receivers to stay healthy, and they believe they're talented enough to have a rebound on offense, and they still have some defensive guys, and because of the high draft picks. Draft picks is probably why.
I need to go meet Brian Daboll because if he's got this much magic that they're going to win, man, I'll go to Vegas right now, man, because it seems like we bring in Brian Daboll and everyone's like, oh, my God, we're going to the Super Bowl. Guys never coached a friggin'
Apka too.
Right. The guys, these two guys haven't been head coaches at all. And now you're trying to tell me we're going to the Super Bowl? I mean, come on. Like Jim Fossil, this reminds me of the Jim Fossil era when the team was crappy. Dan Reeves sucked. They had Dave Brown. What did they do? They brought an offensive coach for Dave Brown. Guess what happened to Dave Brown? 5 games into the season, Dave Brown tore his elbow. Didn't see him again. He was on pace to have a great season that year because of Jim Fossil, but he tore his elbow. Same kind of thing here with Brian Daboll. Offensive guy. We're keeping the quarterback. He's going to change and be great. Guess what? A tiger doesn't change his stripes, homie.
It's an unknown with this new regime. It's a complete unknown with everything. New GM, first time being a GM, not an assistant GM, first time being a head coach, not an assistant coach or an offensive coordinator. Kafka's getting a chance to be what's up, Miz? Kafka's getting a first chance to be an offensive coordinator, so we really just don't know. We got to give these guys a chance to see what they can do, but there's no guarantees with this team. You're just going into it right now with just what are we going to see? What are we going to expect? Are we going to see a healthy team? Are we going to see a team that can execute?
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid this year. I'm not doing
it.
I'm not
doing it. Get ready for this.
I drunk a big ass pitcher of it last year. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
He's just here to stir the pot because 5 minutes later he'll text me after this and say, "Yo, man, I want Neal." And then he'll say 5 minutes on the stream, "No, I want Cross." And then he'll text me, "Oh, those Giants are getting a Quanu." Then he'll text me, "Oh no, we're getting K. Thibodeau."
How about this?
Has come back to YouTube. The Miz
real fast, Miz. Let Mac go and then I'll let you go.
These first 2 rounds, if we come out of the draft, the first 2 rounds, this is a total dream scenario. I don't think it's even possible to happen. But say we can come up Evan Neal, Thibodeau, and in the second round somehow get Linderbaum because he seems to be falling fast out of the first round. How would that work for any of y'all?
I'd be ecstatic. We got ourselves a right tackle. We got ourselves a center. And we got ourselves the best pass rusher, arguably, in the draft. How could you not, as a Giant fan, be ecstatic about that? Dancing in the streets. But they have to play. They got to be playing, though, too, because they might.
Right after that, we trade Sheldon Shepard.
On the field.
Sorry, I know that's Jeff's playing. I'm not making that point because you was talking, Jeff.
Because the more that Linderbaum keeps seeming to be sliding out of the, he keeps falling down the draft board. They're talking about now he might really legitimately go into the second round now. That I don't know, man. I feel like
who's that?
If he falls to the second round, we got to figure out a way to get that kid. I don't give a damn.
A guy like Kenyon Greens or Zion Johnson too, or even if we will go linebacker, what about Christian Harris? The Kobe Dean is falling.
is he has to be your type of center, meaning you can't just plug him into any system.
That's
so
awesome.
If you're going to run the system that best accentuates his strengths, then take him by all means. But if you're going to be a mauling type of offensive line, he's not the guy for you. That's why he's dropping, or that's why his stock is dropping right now in this process, because a lot of people who have him high also are afraid of, is he a one-trick pony in terms of, if I put him in the zone scheme, yeah, I'm going to get a Hall of Famer. If I put him in a man scheme, I'm not going to get that same player that I see. So that's why I think he's dropped.
I don't know, man. Sometimes guys just have it though, and I just think his game will translate because I know good offensive line, but I just know this guy is going to be. I just can't feel like if we get an opportunity to get this guy, and especially in the second round, I think we just got to make that move, man. Got to grab him.
I love a Kenyon Green or Zion Johnson too.
You can't just let players go by because of these technicalities. These are technicality things to me. I feel like when a guy get out there on the field and flat out play the game of football, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for football players.
He's mean, and I like that.
Come out and play the damn game.
Talking about.
He's mean.
And when I look at Linderbaum, he can play the game, man.
Talk about Tyler.
He can be like, he can just, and the center is so important on, everybody talk about left tackles. The center is so important on offensive line, man. You need guys that can to keep this thing together, man. And
I'm not saying
the Jets did.
You're wrong. I'm just telling you why he was subbing.
No, I feel what you're saying. I know it wasn't.
Now, what the Jets did years ago, Jets did that. They got themselves their center and left tackle, and both of those guys played with that team for years. When they got Mangold and Ferguson.
Let's hear.
Love to have something like that for this organization. Go ahead, Miz. Fire it
Miz
off.
cleaned up. He's excited to be here on
I'm ready,
Premium.
bro. I even
to
put on
have
some
him.
aftershave for
I
Adam.
need to do that after this.
Right.
That being said, the mic is yours, my friend.
No,
Even
what
put
Adam already
aftershave
knows
on.
is I speak to him every day. I bother him every day. But what I wanted to say was, yo, get a tackle at 5, whichever tackle it's going to be. But I think that the Giants might be sniffing around this little strategy that if there's 2 tackles at 5 and they get somebody to come bite on a trade, they know they get one of those tackles at 7. So they might trade out of 5. And the Giants, I don't think they value any single one out of those 3 more than the other 2. I think they look at all 3 tackles as a doable starter right away for them. So you might get a trade out where you get a lot, and especially you get a 1 for next year in case things don't work with Jones. You know, we all know what they're probably already leaning towards. So you set yourself up for the QB next year. Then if you do that, you know, I was telling Adam this too. Look, at 36, I like Kenyon Green a lot, man. And if the Giants can also, and I believe in Sean, I got a lot of confidence in this guy, Shane, that he's going to pull the trigger on a couple of things here in this draft. So if you take Bradbury and you pair him up with one of your 3s, and you go back into the early 2nd or late 1st, depending on what team wants a Bradbury. I know Kansas City's the one that, but anyways, like I told them today, man, I like us to get with the other pick, 36 Kenyon Green, and if you pair up Bradbury at 3 and you move back up, maybe you get that guy Boye Mafe, the linebacker, and now you're looking like you had a serious draft already with still a lot of picks to come. Now, I don't know what you guys think about that. As far as the season, I think the Giants, if they're healthy and they put together an O-line this draft, which we all think they're going to do, so you're going to have a major upgraded O-line at least. At worst, you're going to have a major upgrade. If you get a healthy Barkley with a chip on his shoulder, playing for a new contract, and guys can finally stay healthy for once, the Giants' schedule, and I know Adam doesn't agree with this, but the Giants' schedule, I don't see how they're not playing a meaningful game in late December. I don't know what else you could ask for.
Real quick, an NBA update, man. Chicago Bulls have roared back into this game. It is late in the third quarter, man. 71-71. Chicago and Milwaukee all knotted up at 71, man. Late in the third quarter.
Good for the Bulls.
Absolutely.
Good job by the
Put on the
Bulls.
fight. Let's get it. I love
say
it.
that Giannis is being Giannis.
Giannis, 26 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists in the game.
How's Middleton
Let's
looking?
get it. Middleton, 9 points, 6 assists.
Oh, geez, he's having a bad game.
Yeah, it's Giannis.
See, I don't disagree with necessarily what Miz was saying. All I'm saying is there's 31 other teams in the NFL who are also trying to get better. They also are going. Whoever is on our schedule is also circling us as their victory because they know that at 4-13 we're not good. And I haven't seen a team go that haven't do unless we're the Bengals and we have Joe Burrow go basically from 4-12 to the Super Bowl. That's an anomaly. You know, I understand everyone wants to bring in these old linemen. That's fine. But, you know, Andrew Thomas struggled out the gate. You know, these guys are going to struggle to gel. And that's all I'm saying is like, come week 8, 9, 10, when this team is humming, let's hope that this team is competitive in games. But what I see is a team that needs to build a foundation. Don't worry about wins. Don't worry about going to the playoffs. Worry about being competitive. Worry about getting your ducks in a row. Then when the time comes, that's when you'll be chasing division titles and Super Bowl rings. But right now, everyone wants to go, oh, we're so bad. We're going to be 8-8 and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Okay, I've heard all this story before. And guess what? It left me with 4-13, banned from streams, people telling me I'm crazy because I want to fire a guy because the team fell apart. And here we are. So I can't go in.
You gotta look at other things that have changed, man. I mean, we were not healthy at all last year. I'm not making that the excuse. I'm not. I know we were bad. We also had the worst goal line that we've ever seen in our lives, right? And those are two things that can totally flip the other way this year. And then you got a new head coach.
I get it, but you're acting like this guy was touched by the hand of God that all of a sudden everything's going to turn to gold. What I'm saying to you is you're bringing in a new system, new terminology. This is Daniel Jones's fourth offensive coordinator in his 3 seasons, the third offense in 4 seasons with the Giants. Okay, you've got to get the receivers on the same page, the offense on the same page. That doesn't happen overnight. Okay, that doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take weeks, maybe months of the season. We got to stay afloat. And then everyone's like, oh, the defense is going to be completely changed in a different system as well. So they're going to have to learn how to play with each other, especially when that guy is blitzing 38% of the time. If we're getting rid of Bradbury, yeah, Sauce Gardner looks good. He hasn't faced anybody that's in the NFL yet. Okay? He hasn't faced Tyreek Hill. He hasn't faced Jarvis Landry. You know what I mean? He hasn't faced the big receivers. You know what I mean? We're going up against Minnesota this year. We're going up against Green Bay this year. Those are high-powered offenses. Aaron Rodgers can manipulate.
Think about the guys he's facing in that division too. Terry McLaurin and C.D. Lamb, Michael Gallup and Devonta Smith. I mean, he's going to have. If he is the guy, he's going to have some competition. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So you think they're not going to put him on an island? We have 2 safeties on the roster, Julian Love and Xavier McKinney. So I'm saying, like, I want to be right where you guys are, but when I'm looking at the roster and I'm gazing over this, I see we have a lot of stuff we got to work on before we try to get to the playoffs and win a division.
I agree 100%. Like, honestly, if I was making a power rankings right now, the whole league, I mean, I couldn't put us any more than like.
Well, why don't we get into this?
24 at best. You know what I mean? At best, that might be about
somewhere in the 20s.
Like, honestly, and that's just, I hate to say that. I love this team, but based off of what I know about this team right now, I couldn't rank us any higher than about 24 if I was doing a power rankings right now.
Real fast, we can continue if you guys want to continue on the Giants topics, because that's always fun to talk Giants. Or if you guys want to do, we can no one's gonna hold you on this. No one's gonna clip this and use this against you. The draft didn't even happen yet. Does anybody want to give any predictions on any conferences? I know Jeff got the Chiefs finishing last. Do you want to elaborate on that, Jeff, a little bit more? If not, we can move into anything unless anybody wants to give their rankings. If not, we can just talk about the Giants. So it's cool.
I mean, I'll talk about that real quick. The reason why I did that is because I just think the other 3 teams in that division upgraded at really important positions, and I think that division is going to be it's going to be intense. It's going to be a dogfight. Now, I'm telling this now before the draft. Things could change when the draft comes around. Absolutely. But I think that Las Vegas getting Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones, the Chargers getting J.C. Jackson and Khalil Mack, and then obviously the Broncos getting Russell Wilson. They're not minor moves. Those are major moves in that division that each of those teams made. They're big-time, impact-laden moves. And the Chiefs lost some players too. Chiefs lost Matthew. They lost Tyreek Hill. They lost Chargandrick Ward. They lost their top cornerback. They lost guys, so they're going to take a step back. I mean, yeah, Mahomes is still there. Kelsey's still there. They still got talent. Their offensive line, who knows what's going to be this coming year? I mean, when I made that prediction, it's strictly now before the draft. Things could change. We don't know what's going to happen in terms of injuries or anything. And I picked the Raiders. I am fully behind the Raider bandwagon in this division. I think that team is going to surprise a lot of people, and they are explosive on offense when healthy. Derek Carr could be in for a big season as long as he just doesn't make those crucial mistakes. I really believe with that Devontae Adams signing, and then you got Chandler Jones opposite of Max Crosby on that defensive line. Ooh, I mean, that's just scary. You got to deal with those two guys.
Well,
I mean, I just think the Raiders are ready for that jump.
Caleb,
you thanking Devontae Adams, man, for that. I mean, the Raiders for that Devontae Adams signing is Josh Jacobs, man. He's going to benefit from that immensely, because now you can't just load the box up on him at all. You gotta spread it out and have somebody taking care of Devontae Adams, man. It's going to open up the running game, open up running lanes for Josh Jacobs. And he's going to get back to that form he had his first couple of seasons.
Me real fast. Call me crazy. Kayla's going to hate this, but I got the Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers.
I can see that.
I'm sorry. Like,
put it anyway, I feel like at this point. That's how this division is going to be. You can put it almost in any order.
Don't hold us to this. It's all before the draft.
I'm not surprised no matter who wins that division. I wouldn't be surprised who comes in last place in that division, because at the end of the day, they're all going to be good football teams regardless.
It's going to be like 1 or 2 games out. It's not like there's going to be one team single-handedly winning the division. It's going to be close. Might come down to the tiebreaker too, but that's just early prediction.
And Mac, I was going to bounce off your point that you made earlier too. What about guys like Hunter Renfrow, who had a 1,000-yard season and had over 100 catches? Or you got Darren Waller. You got Darren Waller too, a tight end. You all know how good that guy is when he's healthy, and they're going to be the number 2 and number 3 guys in that offense. Brian Edwards is going to be the number 4 target, number 3 receiver on that team. Woo! And they still got Drake, Kenyon Drake, Foster Moreau. That team's got weapons. They got playmakers if they can stay healthy.
You know what
Watch
else
out for them Raiders.
They got a damn good offensive line too.
They do. And Josh McDaniels is an offensive mind. That guy can call pretty good offensive plays.
Yeah,
help out Derek Carr, so
they have everything established as you would want. A team that has what it needs, right? I want to touch on something that Max said. The 49ers, he said early on in the stream, that's a team you need to look at if you want to talk about a team that fell on hard times, lucked out, drafted where they needed to draft, and then went back, right? That team was already established. The Giants have a new regime. To me, I wouldn't have even kept Daniel Jones or Barkley. I would have kicked everybody out and done it from the ground up and said, "Hey, listen, we'll take some booty ass guy like Tyrod Taylor for 2 years, and then we'll get our quarterback." Instead, no, we're sitting here inheriting an excuse every time. And let me tell you, there's excuses that are being handed out for this kid. I'm sorry, there is. That's the harsh reality of it all. You can tell me they did him dirty, whatever, but there's excuses. If this kid were in another city, he'd already be shown the door. But he's not.
Guys, feel free to talk about the
Giants.
That's
number one.
Just talking about the NFL, and anybody want to answer that?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
In a New York minute.
Oh my God, yes. That's a heartbeat. I give him that. I'd give up the farm for that kid. Yo, Herbert is the truth. You already know that. Let me ask you this: how many people are giving up stuff for Daniel Jones? That's what you got to ask yourself. If they're giving you nothing, then there you go. There you go. That's your answer.
Yeah, but we know, Adam. I'm not defending Jones. I know you think I'm gonna step in and defend Jones. I'm not. Listen, man, I'm with you. We do this every day. I know you get heated over this. You're sick of it. I know. I am with you, but you have the kid for 1 year, and you're not really. We don't have the money to do much this year, so you just,
But we're going to the playoffs, Miz.
No. I think the Giants can be competitive this year. Is basically what I was trying to say. Because I think the O-line is the biggest monster piece to it. But when you have an O-line can make average weapons look really good in football.
So yes, and an offensive line can make an average quarterback look average.
Well, you know what? Ain't gonna be no more excuses for him. I think honestly, I've told you this. The writing's on the wall. I think they already got plans in place to move on. but they can't come out and say that. So they're playing the politically correct game right now, you know?
All I'm saying is I want the team to be rebuilded. I want it to be done right. I don't want to half-ass it and try to rush into winning because we have this guy on the team. I don't care if they win or lose with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. Because if Barkley goes off, he ain't staying with us anyways. If Jones goes off, guess what? I'm not paying him $35 million a year, which is going to cost me. So either way, I'm not dealing with that guy. Either one. Right. You know, they're nice to have because they were left over from the last regime, who, by the way, are not here anymore. So there's no loyalty to these guys.
You just gotta see what Daniel Jones has to do because he's probably going to be the quarterback this year. Give him a shot.
What he can do.
Yeah, I love Barkley. He's not going anywhere this year. So you got. I mean, maybe who knows? Maybe Daniel Jones shocks us and he actually plays decent. I mean, am I counting on it? No, but I mean, crazier things have happened in the NFL.
Okay,
but if he sucks, you just move on from him. He's gone.
But are you paying him?
Barkley is going to have
wait a minute. Decent's not keeping here after next year. Decent's not keeping him here. He's gonna have to have like a really great season.
He'd have to
pass for over 30 TDs. He'd have to pass for over 30 TDs, over 4,000 yards, limit the stakes, and stay on the field. That's what he'd have to do.
Thank you.
Have a great season.
If he's out one game, I'm done. I don't care. If you're out one game, you're no good to me. Because
that's the thing that worries me. That's the thing that worries me the most about him is injuries. He's got to stay on the field.
Anybody want to
answer? Listen, they know that, man. They know that. They believe me. They know.
Yes, Kayla, we would do that. I would drive him to the next team. You're not getting I would personally drive him to the next team.
I don't want to pick Jones up and
hire me to drive him to the next team that trades for him for a second round pick. They'd be like, Mr. Costas?
SUV.
Adam.
I totally could see.
Any sane Giant fan would do that. If you could get a second round pick for Daniel Jones,
I'll pick all you guys up and we can all go together. We can have a barbecue out there.
Any team willing to give a second round pick for Daniel Jones, take him.
You're in North Jersey. You can come pick me up, Miz. We'll pick you up in Staten Island. We'll hit up back in Delaware, and then we'll head over to the West Coast to go pick up Zion and go drop this guy off. Okay?
Now, but let's be honest. No, let's be honest. You're not getting a second for Jones right now. I mean, right now.
No, she said
yeah, exactly. I'm thinking realistically, you might get a 4. That's all.
Anyways, I gotta get going soon, guys. Dinner's on the table.
Yeah, we'll wrap up in here in 5 minutes. I just wanted to say this, not to open up a whole bag of worms.
Can I say one more thing? Football, non-football related.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Errol Spence last night had a dominating victory over what the hell is his name? Ugas, whatever his name is. I can't even remember his damn name now. Over Udonis Ugas, man. Ugas is one of the best welterweights in the last couple of years. So it wasn't like some little cakewalk victory, you know what I mean? But Errol Spence made it look pretty damn easy. Closed that man's eye. Had me a little generally worried for Ugas. Because I don't know how Ugas has got to be feeling this morning.
Good night, the lights, baby.
But Errol Spence, man, had a dominating victory. And in boxing world, there is one more fight to book before this year is over. So make it happen. No more bullshitting. Make it happen. Errol Spence, Terrence Bud Crawford, October, November, something like that. Let's make it happen, baby.
I'll watch that because I'm not a boxing fan, but I know who those people are.
Let's make it happen. That's the fight right there that has to happen. Has to happen. Stop dancing around this fight. Let's make it happen. It should have already happened before Errol Spence even got in the car accident. Make this fight happen now. Errol Spence came back, and he was just as dominant as he ever has been before. Make this fight happen. Errol Spence, Terrence Bud Crawford. Do it for all us boxing fans. We need this. We need this in our life.
I'll probably check them out. Absolutely. I just wanted to say, guys, that I did want to start up the Premium Takes Pop sometime this week on my channel. If you guys are willing to partake in that, we're just going to be talking about pop subjects. I'll text you guys on some subjects I had in mind if you guys want to partake. And it's not just, I don't know if I'm going to call it pop, but we can come up with a name. I just want to cover nothing too religious or politics, but yeah, mostly just general topics. You have things going around in the world that we want to cover. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, we want to talk about maybe some things in tech, some of the latest things coming out in tech. We want to get into some of the latest TV shows on television, some of the latest music, or just anything. Maybe we might want to just get into a discussion about space and time. That being said, that's probably it for Premium Takes. Anybody have any last shout outs before we end it tonight?
My last shout out is go ahead, Mac.
I was just gonna say, definitely thanks for everybody for coming through. Tune in. Premium Takes next week. Be on Adam's channel. Premium Takes next Sunday. Also, I'm gonna just start plugging this now. May the 4th, me and Adam gonna be having our first off-season edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. We're gonna be breaking down the NFL draft for the Washington Dallas Eagles and the New York Giants. Breaking down how all the teams drafted, how they did everything after the draft. It's gonna be the first of about 8 or so off-season episodes. So come check that out Wednesday, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, baby.
Exactly. May the 4th be with you, fellas. Look out for that show. Mac just popped it. It's going to be fire. 2 guys talking football, knowing what they're talking about. It's going to be great. I have to hurry up. It's occasional stand-up. You'll see me. It'll definitely be popping back up this week. Next week's shows on my channel is going to be very draft-centric because guess what? Premium Takes will be on after the draft, and so there's no point in having any non-draft talk after that. So we'll try to do maybe a mock draft, some fun stuff for you on next week's show, and of course the NBA playoffs, the saga of the Brooklyn Nets. Will they or won't they be leading the series by the time we speak next week? Stay tuned.
Hey Raphael, we're about to end it real fast, but next time we'll get you on, okay? And we'll get you calling in, buddy. You know what I'm saying? You want to have 2 minutes real fast? Grab the mic, Raphael. Say what you need to say. I love that red neon lights in the back. You should change it to blue for the Giants, but you go right ahead. I'm just joking. Any words, Raphael? Well, that being said, guys, you guys have a wonderful day. And stay tuned. All right, again.
Let's go.